Hey friends, it's Jackson. I'm not sure if a Gen B, and today I'm going to be doing another Reddit video. And I know you guys said you wanted me to upload a few chapters of A Guardian Angel. Don't worry, I will. I have all of today and all of tomorrow. I have part of, I have today, I have all of tomorrow, and then my mom's probably going to be leaving Sunday afternoon, so Sunday, and then most of Monday, and then part of Monday. I have supports on Monday, but I can probably record later. Tuesday, Wednesday, I think she's getting back either on Wednesday or Thursday, I forget. So I'm going to do this video, and then I'm going to do the chapters of A Guardian Angel. And then I'm just not gonna upload any more videos until the summer is over because my thought was that this was going to be my time off when I just spent time with my mom, and that was where most of it was going to be going because we still have two 10-hour days to do for my birthday. We still have a lot of stuff, and I have to discuss something else with her. But in the meantime, I'm gonna be doing a Reddit video right now. Anyway. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do my and then I'm gonna do the few chapters of A Guardian Angel, and then that's gonna be it. Sorry, hang on a sec. Oh, cute. Oh my god, Etsy is full of plushes. Okay. Okay, so I was gonna go into r/AmItheDevil, but this just popped up on my homepage. It's from r/insane parents. Hey, I can't hang out with you anymore until my dad says I can. Like, I'm not allowed to hang out with you anymore. What? Why not? Yeah, apparently you're a bad influence on me because I got a Dr. Pepper. Huh? My dad apparently put a ban on soda and didn't tell me, and he yelled at me as soon as I walked through the door because I got a soda and it's your fault. It was literally your idea to go there. Did you tell him that? Yeah. Yeah, he said, I don't care if it was your idea, that makes it worse. I told you no soda 8 weeks ago, and you can't remember a single thing I tell you. You want me to treat you like a teenager, but you act like a toddler, so now I'm going to treat you like one. You're not allowed to hang out with Charles anymore if you can't even listen to something as simple as no pop. He's clearly a bad influence on you. He's actually insane. The only reason I'm not grounded right now is because my mom stepped in because it's a fucking soda, and grounding me is overreacting. Alright, when we hang out again for now, do you want to just when we hang out again, for now, do you want to just start keeping stuff you don't leave the house with at my house? Yes, please. It's a fucking soda and grounding music. Okay, yes, please. Like I said, you're the one really close friend I have. I think I will actually die if I can't hang out with you. You really are my only friend I hang out with anymore too. I still talk to Molly, but she's weird about texting me because of her mom. I hope he's just mad and it'll wear off. Yeah, 'cause it's a soda, dude. He does shit like this and then wonders why I lie and hide things from him. It's a Dr. Pepper. It's not that deep. Your dad is fucking insane. Okay, that's the entire conversation. Now we're gonna dive into r/AmItheDevil. Let's play a game of who's going to the retirement home. I mean, yeah. Alright. Hold on a sec. I gotta find my save post so that we can dive straight in. Duh. Okay. Wait, there's a bunch of r/AmItheAsshole posts. Where did all my, wait. What the hell happened to all my r/AmItheDevil posts? What? Hang on. Okay, let's just go to the community and I'm gonna find the posts there because I don't know. I saved a whole bunch of them. I don't know why one of them saved. It says they're saved, but they're not coming up for some reason. Okay. Uh so all these posts are from r/AmItheDevil today. That's the subreddit we're looking at because I wanted to look at a new subreddit, one that I've never read at before. So this is gonna be really good. I really enjoy this subreddit, and r/ has read it a few times now, and I always enjoy it. I think he's done like 6 or 7 videos on it. Maybe could be less, could be more. I could be wrong. I think that's about as many as he's. I think I got. Okay. Anyway, can they really do this to me? So basically, this is a bunch of cross posts from other places, but they have posted them all here in r slash am I the devil because it's the person because whoever posted these is a terrible person. So anyway, can they really do this to me? My ex and I never married, split 3 years ago. I tried communicating with her for a year or so and sent her money when I could, but I needed to sell my house, so she had to move out. She moved close to her family in another state with our 2 kids. After the household, I moved to Ohio and have not had any contact with her since. Well, apparently she filed for child support 2 years ago, and I had no idea until I was served papers in April. Now they are asking for 2 years of back pay. I used the online calculator, and if it is accurate, my monthly obligation will be like $1,500. That's like 50 grand in back pay. Can they really do that to me? How can I be expected to pay that? Asked my lawyer, and they said it is a legitimate request, and it is ultimately the judge's choice. I cannot wrap my mind around this at all. Okay. Trigger warning: sexism and child abandonment. Copied verbatim from OOP's comments. Yes, they can. You are legally obligated to provide support for your children. You may have a shot at not having the back pay because of her moving and lack of contact. That will be up to your judge. I'd assume that's how your lawyer will present it. They won't ask for it all at once if it's ordered. You'll get a purge plan with a set amount of arrears added each month, and any tax returns seized until you're current. I thought we could at least argue that back pay should only be owed from the time I received the papers, because I had no idea that she filed until I was served. But she filed paperwork that said it took a long time for service because I moved to Ohio and it took that long to get my address at my new house. I didn't change my phone number. She could have contacted me to get my address at any point. It didn't have to take 2 years. But did you contact her? That argument goes both ways. You knew she had your kids and you didn't reach out to provide support. I saw on social media that she was in a relationship and then found out she got married. I thought it was best to just leave her alone and let her live her life. The kids call her husband dad and everything. I felt it was best to just bow out gracefully. I just can't believe she's coming back. She's coming after me like this after all this time. Okay, I mean, just because she got married doesn't mean you don't still have to support these kids. Yup, back pay to pay her back to for taking care of the child. I don't know about Ohio, but in some states you can request back up to 3 years. They'll most likely garnish your wages at a higher amount than $1,500. It's basically paying it back little by little, and it might screw with your credit score. The only way around it is if she signs off on forgiving you for the amount. My lawyer says that she can only ask for back pay from the month that she filed. The problem is that she filed over 2 years ago, but I was never served until April, so I had no idea this was even happening. She filed paperwork saying that it took service so long because I moved to Ohio, and it took that long to track down my new address. My phone number never changed. She could have gotten that address at any time. It didn't have to take 2 years. Guess you thought you could be a deadbeat dad forever just 'cause they moved, huh? I supported the whole family the entire time we were together while she got to be a stay-at-home mom, even after the kids were in school all day and she could have easily gone back to work. After we split up, I saw on social media that she was in a relationship and then found out she got married. I thought it was best to just leave her alone and let her live her life. The kids call her husband dad and everything. I felt it was best to just bow out gracefully. I just can't believe she is coming after me like this after all this time. This is an obligation you should have been paying this entire time. Why do you think you shouldn't support your kids? Why did you not see your children? Why did you do nothing when she took your kids to another state? I'm sorry to say this, man, but yeah, you're on the hook for this. This is a problem of your own making that you could have avoided by filing for parenting time and legal decision making, aka custody. Most states are moving to a 50-50 model now, so you might not even need a lawyer. You might not have even needed a lawyer. Now, yes, you're almost certainly going to have to pay back the child support. This is money you should have been paying all along that other people covered in order to support your children when you weren't. I needed to sell the house. It was only in my name and we were not together anymore, so she wanted to move to be closer to her family. I didn't want to deny her a support system like that or keep her in a place she didn't want to be. I couldn't afford to be flying there all the time to visit the kids. I saw on social media that she was in a relationship and then found out she got married. I thought it was best to just leave her alone and let her live her life. The kids call her husband dad and everything, blah blah blah. Again, I don't know about any state other than California. In California, the parent requesting child support doesn't serve you. The child support agency does. Did she go through an agency or through a lawyer? If through an agency, they should take care of everything. All she does is fill out paperwork needed. It is through the agency because it is interstate. Apparently, she filed in her state, and then her state petitioned my state. Damn, truly sorry to hear that, brother. Your lawyer is correct. The judge holds all the power, and all judges have their own biases. That's why everyone holds their breath as they await court assignment. Unfortunately, your situation happens to good men all too often. I saw on social media that she was in a relationship. Okay, blah, blah, blah. I really thought I was doing her best. I really thought I was doing her right by just leaving it be and not rocking the boat with custody drama and all that. Kids never get over a parent abandoning them, regardless if the other parent finds them a new daddy. Shame on you. Did your parents, their grandparents, abandon them too? You were seriously screwed up, and I hope the judge socks it to you. I really thought I was doing the right thing for them. They seemed happy and well cared for. I felt like putting her and her kids through custody battles and having to leave their mom to visit me would be more traumatic for them. Yeah, they always stay quiet until things get financially strenuous. Then they magically remember that they have an untapped bank account in the non custodial parent. Next thing you know, you're served the dreaded stack of papers. If it's any consolation, I think you did the right thing. Your conscience should be clear. Well, that's the other thing. She makes great money. They send her W 2s and income information with the petition. That's what I use to calculate what I would owe. I don't even think she needs my money. She filed 2 years ago, though. Maybe since she is doing so well now, she can just drop it and let us go our separate ways. I'll even let her husband adopt them since he seems to be a good dude and the kids already call him dad. Probably just wishful thinking though. I'm a father too, so I understand your perspective. However, these are your kids and they are your responsibility. Legally, your excuses don't matter. The right thing to do is to move closer, petition for custody or visitation, and pay whatever amount is ordered. The only way to reduce your support obligation is to obtain shared custody. If you're covering their health insurance, you can ask the court to adjust the support calculation accordingly. Otherwise, the arias would keep piling up. I'm happy to pay. I have zero problem with that, and I won't retaliate by going for custody. It's just the back pay of 2 years that I just can't wrap my head around. It's so much, and I didn't even know she filed for so long. They're not that man's children. They are your children, unfortunately for them. Children aren't free to raise. Half of their expenses monthly are your financial obligation, legally and realistically. You can't even go for visitation after 2 years, no contact, or attempt to properly provide for them. I have no problem with paying. It's just 2 years of back pay when I had no idea she even filed that I'm struggling with. I am happy to pay even back to the day I was served, and I will pay whatever the court orders me to pay. It's just mind boggling to me. And I would not retaliate by going for custody now. The kids are happy and well cared for, and I know from my own childhood experience that custody battles are traumatic for kids. I wouldn't put them through that. And then a deleted comment. No, I'm saying that custody battles are hard on kids. Those boys adore their mom. Do you think they will be happy spending summers and school breaks out here with me sitting in daycare all day while I go to work? They'd rather be with their mom going on fun trips and camping and all the stuff they get to do with the stay at home parent. Everything is in the best interest of the children, right? Leaving them be and not confusing them and forcing them away from their mother is in their best interest. I just don't understand how they make all of this about the money, advising him to go for 50-50 custody so he doesn't have to pay instead of, wanting to see your kids. Ah, it's heartbreaking. It's so clear he wants them the hell out of his life. I'll let the new guy adopt them like they're a litter of puppies he can't seem to get rid of. Yeah, they always stay quiet until things get financially strenuous. Then they magically remember that they have an untapped account in the non-custodial parent. Next thing you know, you're served the dreaded stack of papers. If it's any consolation, I think you did the right thing. Your conscience should be clear. What the actual fuck? So mom should pay 100% for the kids because she got herself pregnant, apparently? And they are talking like she suddenly needs money now and are ignoring the fact that she was filed 4 years ago after he took the money from the sale of their home and fled the state without providing so much as a forwarding address for his mail. This man just ditched his family and ran and is just mad he was found. And he complains that she didn't call him. What? So he could hide better? It's not like legal paperwork can be served over the telephone, and hardly anyone answers all of their calls. Yeah, a lot of people screen their calls. Exactly. If he stopped contact, how many times should she have called him to try and make him see his kids or chase him for things? I think if she had called, he would have changed his number. This is just an excuse. What a D-bag. Sounds like my dad, to be honest. I mean, sounds like something my dad would have done. Only my children matter. Am I the asshole for expecting my mom to take care of my children over my sisters? Well, we know the answer because it's posted here. So, my sister 29 female, gave birth 5 months ago and is going back to work. My mom went to her for a month when she first gave birth to help take care of her, and that month was extremely difficult on them. My mom is an LPN. Hang on. LPN? What is an LPN? Okay. I think the N stands for nurse, but I have to actually look this up to find out. I have to see like what's going on here. Hmm, dang it. Okay, well, uh, sorry, hang on, guys. I gotta know what the hell? Okay, whatever. I gotta know what an LPN is before we keep going. An LPN. Licensed practical nurse. There we go. Mm, okay. Anyway, that's frustrating. Okay. Okay, back to the story. So, my mom is an LPN and just works casual in both places. We are 4 hours apart, so she has told me she is going to move to the city to my sister is to take care of her newborns until she turns 1. My mom has been looking after my children for 4 years. I got pregnant at 21 from my 28-year-old ex, and she never liked him but never tried hard enough to prevent me from being with him. She said I wouldn't listen to her because I was still upset from the divorce between her and my dad and didn't care what she said. I don't think she did enough to protect me, but that's something we disagree on. I mean, at the end of the day, you were an adult and you made your own decisions, and you blaming your mom for you being with someone abusive because you didn't do enough, because she didn't do enough to protect you. I don't know. That's pretty messed up in and of itself. Like, I don't blame my mom for being with my dad because she, quote, didn't do enough to protect me and my sister. She did everything she could, but it's whatever. It's fucking, you're just fucking blaming her for something that you did. You were an adult. You made your own decisions. You ended up in that situation, and I don't want to like victim blame you like because of the abuse and stuff. It sucks. Yeah, that's shitty, but don't blame your mom for that either. I'm not victim blaming. I'm just saying your mom is not responsible for that. I don't know. I we don't have all the details, so we can't really say either way, but it's pretty shitty that you're just putting that all on your mom. He ended up being abusive and cheating on me with his now girlfriend. I, 26 female, am just upset that she is leaving my 4 and 2-year-old sons for my sister's daughter. She says it's only fair because she did 4 years of babysitting for me, and it's hard to find childcare for an under something year old. I don't know. It doesn't say a number. It just says for an under year old. Oh, maybe under year old, like 1 year old. No, my 4 and 2 year old. Okay, I don't know. And it's hard to find childcare for an under year old. There's no number, so I don't know what. She says I'm ungrateful and she hasn't gotten a thank you for her free childcare. I think she is doing it to punish me, and she is also doing it because my sister is paying her. She says it's not about the money and she will give some of it to me to help me with childcare, but childcare for 2 kids is over $2,000, and I only make $3,200 after taxes. My ex only pays $300 for his kids, and her it's impossible for me to make it without her, but she insists it's fair. It's not fair. My sister and her husband make a lot of money and they own their home. I'm in a shitty rented apartment. I feel like she is intentionally screwing me after she didn't protect me into getting a relationship and then pregnant by an asshole. Okay. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I might be the asshole for expecting my mom to take care of my children while my sister has a newborn. I mean, you're the asshole for a lot of things. That's just one of them. But you're an asshole for several things here. The entitlement is so high in this post. I question if it's real. Assuming it is, It's way past time for you to start taking accountability for your life. It's not your mother's fault that you made really bad decisions at 21 that defined your life. Nope, not your mother's fault at all. That's on you. She's babysat your kids for 4 years. You do sound ungrateful. Yes, it's your sister's turn. And yet, your sister is basically subsidizing your childcare by paying your mother to look after her 1-year-old. But still, you moan and complain about life being unfair to you. Grow the fuck up. You're the asshole. You said all of my thoughts. I'm sure OP is going to have a whole bunch of edits to demonize the mom now. She's an LPN now, but in 24 hours, she'll be a recovering alcoholic who left OP with her own grandmother so she could frolic with an affair partner that led to the divorce and became a sexually abusive stepfather, which is what led her to the abusive ex. And her own father was kept from her purely because the mother wanted child support money before he passed away from cancer. You're the asshole. Massive main character syndrome. Your children are your problem. You were lucky enough to be able to offload them to your mother for 4 years. That's more than enough. Your shitty situation is your fault and your fault alone, not your mom's. Your mom decided she is done helping you because you were abusing her help and you are ungrateful. Have you ever thought that maybe your mom is not doing that to punish you, but instead because she is tired of being treated like a slave and blamed for everything wrong in your life? Mom is totally escaping. I hadn't thought of that, but you may be right. Rooting for the mom here. Yes, run, mom, run. Bingo. Didn't you read the post? It's mom's fault she had the kids. Slash S, which just means sarcasm. Ooh, this is this next comment is a list with numbers. You know it's good when they're that. You're the asshole. You sure are quick to blame everyone else in your life instead of taking responsibility for your actions, aren't you? Let me clear up a, let me clear up a few things for you. Please. Please do. I would love that. Please do that. It is not your mom's fault that you chose to marry and have children with an asshole. It is yours. Two, you are being ungrateful. She gave you 4 years of free childcare, and your response is to blame her for your poor choices. I would want to get away from you too. Three, your children are yours, and your asshole ex's responsibility, not your mom's. Being a single mom sucks, but you are here and you need to step up to the challenge. You can likely apply for aid since your income is so low. Take advantage of every bit of aid you can get. Four, your envy of your sister is showing. It is hard to watch a sibling make smarter choices in their life and not feel this way. Remember that your mom is a grandmother to your sister's child, too. Five, $300 is likely not enough child support for 2 kids. Even if the guy makes minimum wage, his wages should be garnished by the state. If you made some sort of other agreement without the court system involved, you are likely not getting what is deserved. There are some possibilities where that man is correct, but they are few and far between. You are 26. It's time to start owning your bad decisions and working to make your life better. Blaming everyone around you will never solve your problems. I love how she blames her mom for not trying hard enough to come between her and her shitty husband, even though she knew her mom didn't like him. I'm starting to think she's the shitty person and not her ex. Never mind the fact that usually the more a parent tries to interfere in their child's relationship, the more likely that child is to pursue the relationship. Again, she was 21, she made some really stupid decisions, and recently I made a decision because remember I made that video where I had a hamster, so I had to buy all the hamster supplies, and I bought a really big cage for the hamster, and then I discovered I had a bin already at home that would be perfect for a bin cage. I just had to empty some stuff out of it, so I did that. So I emptied some stuff out of it and I put it in a smaller Walmart bin that I wasn't going to be using for the bin cage because it was too small. And then I decided to return the hamster cage, but it turns out I spent over $100 on it, but I'm only going to be getting about $58 back because apparently it's going to cost like 47 or $48 to send it back. So, and I asked my mom what I should do, and she said suck it up, which yeah, sounds about right. You know, just suck it up. It's your decisions, and it's too late. There's nothing you can do about it. It's what you did. Oh boy. Excellently put. Also, I may have misunderstood, but Mom is 4 hours away, so on top of everything, she travels 4 hours each way to help you. And then OP responds, oh gosh. No, my sister is 4 hours away, so my mom is moving there. Okay. You are 26 years old. Past time for you to own up to your own mistakes. She tried to tell you that your ex was problematic, but you wouldn't listen. What was she supposed to do? Kidnap you? Your sister is likely still postpartum. It sounds very fair. Your mother is allowed to decide who needs her help more. Just because your sister has more money doesn't mean she isn't struggling. Grow up. If you are half as insufferable as your post makes you out to be, I'd want as much distance between you and me as possible. Shrug. Your sister giving birth and needing your mom's help was hard on you? Yikes. As other posters have said, you are 26, you are an adult and need to take responsibility for your choices. Your kids are your issue to deal with. Your mom has helped you for years, and now she is going to help your sister. Deal with it and grow up. Literally everything you just said times two. What this comment says, in your entire post, you blame everyone for your lot in life. Time to own your choices and improve your life. If your ex isn't paying enough in child support, get a court order for the proper amount due. You've saved money for how many years not paying for childcare? How did your budget? How did you budget so that the money helped improve your situation? I've been there. I left an abusive ex and it was so hard, but I made it work for my child. You have to stop waiting for someone to save you and figure it out. Yeah, you said you're making $3,200, which is more than twice what I'm making currently. I think I'm making like $1,300 or something on disability. Like, and that's just money that I'm getting from the government because of all my shit that I'm dealing with that mm, but, I should start looking for a job really soon. I'm planning to start looking for a job. I have to move back first. But as soon as I'm back in my own place, my plan is to one, start fostering cats, and two, get a job because I need a little extra money. Anyway. Oh, wait. Okay. So that was from the Am I the Asshole post. And now we're gonna take a look at the same post, only this is over on r/Am I the Devil. And the top comment is, how was her mom supposed to stop her getting pregnant? Throw away the key to the chastity belt she forced OOP to wear? It's mom's fault she got pregnant. It's mom's fault boyfriend was abusive and cheated. It's mom's fault childcare is expensive. It's mom's fault she's renting a shitty apartment and on and on and on. I think I might know why mom prefers to be around the sister. I once knew someone like this. Very frustrated, I said, so you're the victim of every single interaction you've ever had? And they said, yes, I need to be more assertive. Even the way she described the exes ended up being abusive and cheating as if it's not her fault is annoying. There's only so much a friend or parent can do in the early days when someone isn't ready to hear the truth. She should have stopped her from falling on the boyfriend's dick/s. Sarcasm, in case it wasn't obvious. Right. OP was 21, not 15. She absolutely wouldn't have listened to her mom, and there was no way she could have stopped her. Hell, it's hard enough to get a 15-year-old to listen to you, let alone an adult. Exactly. And she is also doing it because my sister is paying her. That is a pretty good reason. This is another good reason. She says I'm ungrateful and she hasn't gotten a thank you for her free childcare. Okay, I must have missed that part. Not one thank you in 4 years. Eek. I thank my mom all the time. I always tell her I appreciate what she does for me and that I and thank you. And I'm gonna tell her another big thank you when she gets back because she's been so great these last few months, especially these last few months, especially. Like, she let me move in early, which she didn't have to do. She let me get my snake, which she didn't have to do. She let me get my hamster, which I didn't have to do, and he didn't really last long anyway. Um, and she's really been helping me out and stuff. Like, she's been doing all kinds of stuff. She's been so good to me. I mean, she has been away for most of the summer, but I don't, whatever. I don't want to deal with that. The entitlement is so real. Her mom was supposed to be a free nanny because OOP made bad decisions as an adult and didn't do enough. Sounds like mom told OOP it was a bad idea, but didn't put a tracker on her car, take her phone, and show up places demanding she end the relationship. Is OOP responsible for any aspect of her life? It's shocking to me that in 4 years she never even offered her mom a dollar to say thank you, but just expected her to watch her children for free, probably until her poor mom dropped dead. Yeesh. Personal responsibility is not in her vocabulary at all. The entire thing is a woe is me attention grab. It's unfortunate that she's just a kite in the wind and subject to the whims of the universe with no autonomy. Doot, doot, doot. She definitely would not have listened to her mom. Nightfall might have had a third or fourth kid she can't take care of just to spite her mom. Uh, she said she didn't like your nearly 30-year-old boyfriend. There's only so much you can do when your child is an adult. Other sister was paying her, and probably already said thank you. The mom was also a nurse during the panini while being mom to OOP's children. Like, I just don't get women who have multiple babies by deadbeats. I'm sure by the time she got present again, multiple red flags were present. Uh, she'd still be with this guy had he not cheated. This reminds me of the woman who was mad mother-in-law didn't babysit on the days OOP took off from work. What? Wait, that was a. Where did this? Where is that post from? Okay, she never liked him, but never tried hard enough to prevent me from being with him. She was a fucking adult. I can also tell from her repellent personality that there's no way in hell she'd have listened, no matter what her mom said or did. She created her own circumstances, got 4 years of free childcare, and she's still bitching. It's absolutely wild to me that somehow it's her mom's fault she got knocked up twice as an adult. I do worry about her kids though because clearly she resents them. My parents used to watch my brother's kid while my brother and his wife were at work when they were little for free because they loved doing it. They were brand new grandparents and more than happy to do it. By the time my sister had kids, it was more than a decade later. Our brother is older than us by a good bit, and our parents weren't quite up for that level of involvement anymore for health reasons, and because they were 10 plus years older. Hard for them to run after little kids or deal with babies anymore. They still watch my sister's kids from time to time for very short periods, but not as much as they did with my brother's kids. My sister never complained because A, it was understandable that people their age couldn't be caring for newborns or toddlers all day anymore. B, they were her kids and her responsibility. She did her best to make sure they got to see the kids often, but didn't want to just dump the kids on them even when they tried to insist, because she knew the circumstances were different and she wasn't entitled to free childcare. Also, of course she'd watch the sister's kids before she's being paid for it. That's a no-brainer. The entitlement is strong in this one. She got 4 years of free babysitting and resents that her mom is now going to give 1 year of babysitting her sister's newborn. OOP is going to have to pay for childcare now and bitterly resents it, even though mom is going to give OOP some of the money the sister is paying for the childcare. Wait, what? I must have missed that part. OOP is also angry that when she was 21, her mom didn't stop her from getting with her abusive, cheating ex. As if OOP would have listened to mom at that point. Somehow it's all mom's fault that OOP has a terrible ex, lives in a crappy apartment, and her life sucks. It has nothing to do with OOP's poor choices. OOP is an asshole and a devil. I'm also hoping this is rage bait because this makes OOP look very bad. I mean, there is a chance. It could be. Hmm. Oh no, someone else lost their hamster. Aw, aw, baby. Aw. Hmm. Oh man. Hmm. Hmm. Oh my god. Huh. Accidental pregnancy update. Someone, someone's hamster had tiny babies. Huh. So yeah, basically the hamster got accidentally pregnant and they just posted pictures of the babies. Cute. Hmm. Hmm. Alright. Boop. Hmm. Hmm. Sorry, hang on. Boop, 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 boop. Hmm. 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 Um, sorry guys. All right. Be my property, not my wife. Am I the asshole if I cancel my wedding? My fiance refuses to change her last name or name our kids with my last name. My 36 male fiance, 36 female, got engaged last August after I asked her parents for her hand in marriage. Both our parents and families are traditional in the sense that all her siblings and parents have taken the man's last name. She's a creator and has a business that's profitable, but she cannot pay herself yet, and she's on the payroll of her parents' company, making about $25 $25,000 per year. I make 7 times her salary. Hang on. Let me just check what that is. 25 times 7. $175,000. Okay. That's a lot of money. Which makes me the breadwinner, and being a disabled veteran in World War I, I can give my children free college tuition. Her art is created under her business, so changing her name wouldn't affect what she created or creates, which is my understanding. The only thing that would change would be the business owner. Um, would be the business owner. We've been engaged almost a year since August 2023, to which name change never got brought up, because I assumed she would be taking my last name like the rest of her family and mine to create a new cohesive family unit. I'm okay with her reluctance to change her name and keep hers, and I've shared this with her, but I've said that the kids would keep my last name. She is not okay with this. WI is a 50-50 state in which debts slash assets are shared property 50-50 once married, and the burden of financial support for men is assumed in court. That being said, I'm not thinking about divorce before marriage. I want a cohesive, happy family, which is why I worked and worked so hard. I don't want my children to be only connected to me by 23andMe and my finances. This is also this is also tradition in our families and community. Also, she has also suggested changing our last name to one that's different than both of ours, which she suggested would be her mom's maiden name, not one that would meet in the middle. I'm the only male in my family, while she has 3 other brothers who are able to pass on her name. So if I lose my last name, it dies with me. I lose all my heritage. I brought up hyphenated names, to which she suggested changing hers to her last name hyphen my last name, but I have to change mine to my last name hyphen her last name, and the kids get her last name hyphenated with my last name last. This brings us back to her original reluctance to changing her last name, which I said she did not have to do. I said I wanted our kids to have either my last name or her last name hyphen my last name. We're approaching the courthouse date in 2 weeks now, and then having a micro elopement style wedding in Europe. To me, her not changing her name is perfectly fine, and I'm not trying to own her. I respect her views on the origin of this tradition, but that's my reasoning for wanting this. It's to be connected to my kids, family cohesion, passing my name to my kids, and because I do believe in patriarchal lineage in regards to the father's name, is traditionally passed down to the kids. So would I be the asshole if I called off the wedding because she's unwilling to name our kids after me? Yes. Edit, I am not opposed to hyphenating our children's last names. She is. She is only wanting her last name or hyphenating our last names differently and using her hyphenated last name for our kids, not mine. Okie dokie. Uh, I posted Am I the asshole if I cancel my wedding because she won't change her name. Okie dokie. Blah blah blah. Wait, so you are opposed to a hyphenated last name for the kids while you each keep your original names? That sounds like it would be the most reasonable solution. And then the OP responds, No, I'm not opposed to the kids having hyphenated last names. She is. What you wrote is that she would agree to the kids having the hyphenated name the way she would have her hyphenated name, her last name first, yours second, or you would have your last name first. I think if I've read this right, as it's confusing, he is saying that the only way she will agree to hyphenated last names is if his is the other way around to hers and the kids. I think. I'm not entirely sure. To me, she agrees to have hyphenated last names if the kids has hers first, and OP gets his hyphenated too. I don't think she'll have a problem if OOP puts her last name first on his name, but she might have said that if OOP wanted his first for him, that would be fine too. His edit says the only options she's on board with are hyphenating their names differently, or the kids having her last name. It's a bit confusing, but it reads that she isn't willing for them all to have the same hyphenated name. Okay. At this point, after seeing all his comments saying that she didn't want to have the names hyphenated and she only wanted hers, even though the post said otherwise, I find it hard to trust his word. Either way, if this is important for both and neither of them will back down, it's over. Agreed, and I think he needs to clarify the point about whether she's willing for them all to have the same variation of hyphenation, because that changes things. If the case is that she doesn't mind what he does as long as she and the kids have her first name in the hyphenation, and he's being stubborn and insisting they have his name first in the hyphenation, then he's the asshole. OP, everyone sucks here. Here's the thing, if she's willing to hyphenate the kids' last names, which is what you said in the post, then take that. Why does it matter whose last name is first? In the US it's the woman's last name hyphen spouse. In Mexico it's the opposite. I didn't realize because I'm Mexican American, so my first name and now ex's last name seemed fine. Our kids have both and are my last name hyphen his. No issues. Both of us are represented in the names of our daughters, and that's that. Get over this patriarchy and traditionalist perspective. If you truly love her and she truly loves you, compromise. Otherwise, this is your sign that this is not what's best for you, nor her, because your views really are very different than you both expected. Walk away before the wedding and move on. I'm in the US with a hyphenated last name, and where I live, there's no standard for whose name goes last or first. And in fact, my husband's name is the first half, and mine is the second half, totally because that just sounded better. OP should hyphenate so they all match, however they agree on, and move on. The whole point of the hyphen, rather than a space, is to indicate the equality of the two halves. Okay. Alright. Um, and the, uh, that was from the, that was sorry, I'm trying to get my thoughts together, but the comments that I just read were from r slash am I the asshole from the original post, and now I'm going to read some of the comments from the r slash am I the devil post. I don't want my children to only be connected to me by 23andMe and my finances, but he's fine if that's the only connection she has. According to him, women bond with their children due to giving birth. Men can only bond with their kids if they all share the same last name. He's dumb as fuck. Surely the better solution if he's concerned with only DNA and finances connect them is to make sure he's an involved father who spends time with his kids and bonds that way, because a name is just symbolic, and by his logic he has a daughter. Then does he lose his connection to her when she marries and assumedly takes her husband's name? And by his logic, he has a daughter. When does he lose his connection to? Then does he lose his connection to her when she marries and assumedly takes her husband's name? Yes, duh. That's why it's called giving away. Someone asked this, and his only response was that if he has all daughters, he will allow them to make their own choices about which last name they take at marriage, as though he will have sway over them as adults. Yeah. Oh, you'll allow them to do that? Wow, that's so nice of you. Not as if you can tell me otherwise. My dad says that he's going to be so incensed if a partner asks his permission to marry either my sister or I. Unlikely given our personalities, but who knows, maybe we end up with someone with weird views. Then he's going to give them weird tasks like Hercules or Taskmaster to punish them for thinking he has any sway in deciding whether either my sister or I will agree to a proposal. Doesn't speak well of his opinion of people who become parents through adoption, sperm donors, or surrogacy. That part. Okay. I lose all my heritage. Ah, yes, the noble guy from Wisconsin. Like, chill out, Henry VIII. I don't know what number that is. Okay. It's always the generic white dudes who have done nothing notable to speak of who are worried about losing their heritage. And their family name slash family line ending with them. It's so weird. Sorry, I wasn't aware the Habsburgs had settled in Milwaukee. Patriarchal lineage, patriarchal lineage and heritage is important. Wait until bro finds out it doesn't fucking matter anymore. And then, someone with 21 downvotes comes along and says, if my wife didn't want to take my name or give my name to our kids, it would have been a deal breaker. I get this, dude. I wouldn't even have gone with the hyphen compromise. Wow, okay, that's messed up. Not only that, a son would have my exact name and be number five. No room for compromise on this. But I was always upfront about that very early in any relationship. Wait a sec. I think this is a joke. This is the way. Upfront communication. It's so important. OOP's error was he stated he assumed she would take it. My husband is upfront that if we had a son, we he would want to name him after his grandfather who passed, which I accepted because I understand where he comes from. I was always upfront with my husband that I was not the traditional woman, and if he wanted, that he could find the nearest exit and bounce. I also told him I would never drop my maiden name and want our kids to be hyphenated, and I didn't. And when we have kids, they'll be hyphenated too. It's hyphenated mine hyphen his, so I use his outwardly. It's all about communication. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But yeah, um, yeah, the whole hyphen thing is definitely a compromise. But yeah, you assume she would take it. But I'm not getting married. But even if I were, I would never give up my maiden name because I was able to change it to my mom's last name, and I'm not giving that up for some random guy's last name. I don't care. Like, I'm gonna be upfront. Like, I would just be upfront and be like, I'm not giving up my last name when we get married, so don't expect me to, and no hyphenating either. I'm not hyphenating with some random dude. I mean, it wouldn't be some random dude, it would be the dude I loved, but it doesn't matter. I'm not opposed to women changing their name if they want to. It should be solely their choice. There's so much involved in a name change, and if you're a career woman, your name is everything. I am planning to change mine after marriage, but a guy that considers that a deal breaker is a major red flag. The way he talks about children is also gross. He can't feel connected to his kids if they don't have his last name. Why? And why is a name dying out with him such a big deal? This definitely should have been discussed long before a year after engagement. I am often impressed with the random things men require in order to be able to have any connection with their kids. Apparently, being a dad isn't enough. Dudes talking about their kids. If I don't share the same last name, genetic material, and complete set of interests, or if I miss even second from first contraction to final stitch, I cannot possibly bond with this child. Dudes talking about other men. We share a single common interest, so we're basically soulmates. Yeah, wasn't there a story I read before about some guy not being able to bond with his child because he, quote, didn't see the birth because she had a C-section and the guy wasn't allowed to be in the operating room. So then he couldn't bond with the child, and it was obviously just some fucking excuse. Okay. Uh, did Stephanie M write this? That's the title of this next post. And they're talking about Stephanie Meyer, aren't they? Anyway, oh yeah, OP says I couldn't resist the title, love Twilight, but I'll never forgive Stephanie Meyer for the trash way she treated my girl Rosalie. Growing up watching Arthur and now with Bluey being the new craze, 4-year-olds are very intelligent. At 5, a child can understand it's not his birthday unless he's being raised wrong. If the child was mentally incapacitated, that's different. But it just sounds like they are bad parents that make everything about their little prince. You bought a cake she didn't like. I also hate chocolate cake, so. And then she posts that, and I took that personally meme. Your golden child blew out her candles. You didn't get her any gifts. Grandma sent a gift for someone else. Does anyone in this family care about Rosalie? When she's 18, OOP is going to be shocked Pikachu. She's no contact. It's not hard at all to buy some cheaper things and wrap them. Maybe some hair accessories, a top on clearance, a toy that costs like $5, but OOP literally didn't care. I don't especially like cheesecake myself, but for my SO's B-Day, what did I make him? Cheesecake! Because the birthday person gets what they want. I made myself a key lime cake for my birthday because that was what I wanted. OP is going to be surprised when her golden child has no friends and isn't invited to birthday parties because brats tend to get ostracized. Sorry, I got into the comments a little bit, but I feel like I should have ended up reading the story first. Okay, let's read the actual story. Am I the asshole for upsetting my daughter on her birthday? Uh, I'm a mother to 2 kids. Rosalie, oh, there's the Stephanie Meyer part. 13 female and Jamie, 5 male. Rosalie's birthday was yesterday and it was supposed to be a good time, but this happened and now things are tense with my family. I love that name, by the way. Rosalie had plans for her birthday. We were supposed to go to Santa Cruz, but my husband got laid off back in May, and he has a new job, but he didn't feel comfortable taking any vacations since he's still new to his company. She accepted that and made new plans. She wanted to go shopping and then spend most of the day at home. I took her shopping and she got a few things. Thankfully, she doesn't have expensive tastes yet, and took her to a movie. However, I ended up changing a few things. When we bought Rosalie her cake, she wanted cheesecake, but she's the only one who likes it in our house, so I made her pick one we could all enjoy and ended up settling for a chocolate cake with whipped frosting, which she ended up not eating because she didn't like it. Jamie also got to blow out the candles first, since he doesn't understand that Rosalie's birthday is her day and is too young to understand yet. Excuse me, my 4 year old understands when her siblings' birthdays are and does not try and, make it about her. She understands that it's about them. If my 4 year old can understand that, your child who is 1 year older than my child can certainly understand that. Jamie also got to blow. Okay, she was upset with this and said that we made the blowing out candles about him. Seems like you're making everything about him. I reminded her that he can't understand that they're meant for her yet, and she went quiet. My husband brought out one of those musical candles that plays a song when blown out, and when she tried blowing it out, it didn't work, which upset her even more. The final straw was the fact that she didn't even get any presents. What? Admittedly, we were so caught up in other things that we didn't buy her any gifts, but I thought what she bought in town would have compensated for it. Her grandma sent her a present, but she accidentally sent her something meant for one of her cousins. She ended up getting upset over the lack of presents, and it felt a little entitled. Eventually, she got upset and yelled at us, saying that her birthday sucked. I reminded her about her shopping spree and movie, and she said that wasn't enough. We had a little back and forth, but now she's grounded and upset with me. What? My husband is on my side, but my mother, the same grandma that sent her the cousin's present, is angry at me and called me an asshole. She also wanted to send a new gift, but I told her no because of how Rosalie acted, and I said I would have it returned if she tried. However, I wonder now if I was an asshole. What? You made your child's birthday celebration about your other child. What the fuck is this? Okay. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I might be an asshole because I disappointed Rosalie with her birthday celebration and that upset her. Okay. You're the asshole. I'm failing to understand how you don't see your point of view here. We were supposed to go to Santa Cruz, but my husband got laid off back in May, and he has a new job, but he didn't feel comfortable taking any vacations since he's still new to his company. So she doesn't get to go where she asks to go because your husband got a new job months ago. Even if he couldn't come, why couldn't you take her? She wanted cheesecake, but she's the only one who likes that in our house, so I made her pick one we could all enjoy. It doesn't matter that she's the only one that likes cheesecake. It's her birthday. She should get to have the cake she wants. You could have gotten her one of those small personal cakes and a different one for the house if it was that big a deal. She didn't even like the one you did get. Jamie also got to blow out the candles first, since he doesn't understand that Rosalie's birthday is her day and is too young to understand yet. I'm sorry, she didn't even get to blow out her own candles. As a mother of a 5 year old and a 3 year old, they are both old enough to understand it's not their day and they don't get to blow out the candles. Thank you, exactly. How is a 5 year old, almost in school, if not already, too young to understand that concept? The final straw was the fact that she didn't get any presents. Admittedly, we were so caught up in other things that we didn't buy her any gifts. I'm willing to bet money that you have never forgotten to buy gifts for your 5 year old. Her birthday is once a year. There was no excuse for this. Also, it's not like her first birthday or anything. She's fucking 13. Of course she's going to be mad at you for not getting any presents because she understands what's going on. She understands the favoritism. If it was a 1 year old and they didn't give a fuck, maybe, no, this wouldn't even still be acceptable. But forgetting to buy them gifts wouldn't be a big deal because they won and they don't understand what the fuck is going on. They don't understand what a birthday is. They don't understand that they're supposed to eat the cake. Smash, they just smush it around with their hands. Okay, so can you tell me exactly how you made this day about her and made it special for her? What you did was show her that she's not worth more than a last minute thought and always comes after everyone else. Literally so insane that she thinks a 5 year old is too young to understand. Like, number one, no, he's not too young to get it. And number two, if he genuinely doesn't get it for some reason, then don't let him. Exactly. Don't let him fucking ruin it. Thank you. My 3-year-old niece loves other people's birthdays. She sang happy birthday to me recently and watched me blow out the candle in my cake when we went out to dinner. She thinks her birthday is great also. She can tell the difference, in 3-year-old terms, between it being her special day and someone else's and thinks both are great and fun. This is both because she is an awesome, empathetic kiddo and because her family has explained things to her in age appropriate language from the start. The whole thing is bogus, and Rosalie has every right to feel like she missed out. And then because she got upset with you, you grounded her. I'm sorry, what? And told people they're not allowed to buy her any presents, and you'll send them back if they send her presents? What? You are a bad person. Okay. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. And to be honest, I feel like OP is cutting the 5-year-old way too much slack because he's a boy. Obviously, I'm speculating here, but her words and actions reek of, well, boys will be boys, or he didn't know any better. It's very poor parenting to be excusing obvious misbehavior from a child that old. Frankly, sounds like he doesn't know better because his parents haven't been teaching him to be respectful of others. Getting his way on his sister's birthday could lead to entitlement from him, and entitlement is unpleasant enough in a child, but is so much worse in an adult man. Also wild as hell that they called the daughter entitled when she essentially said she forgot to get her any gifts. Tell me you're a boy mom without telling me you're a boy mom. How much you want to bet the brother is the one that doesn't like the cheesecake? All the Reddit money. He's also the one who likes chocolate cake with whipped frosting. Yeah, I bet. Fucking hell. Like, you cannot understand that it's not your special day, it's someone else's special day. So they're the one who's going to get gifts and blow out the candles on the cake because it's a special cake for them, and that they're going to get their preferred flavor. I always get my preferred flavor on my birthday because it's my birthday. It's my birthday cake. And I've kind of moved on from cake to like other things. Like sometimes we'll go to Mrs. Fields and get cookies, but there is this one vending machine where we go to Carlos Bakery, and they got rid of the vending machine in the Upper Canada Mall, which is probably good since I'm pre-diabetic now. So I got a few slices for my birthday, and I've slowly, they're in the freezer. I've slowly been measuring them out over the last few weeks, and I've eaten 3 out of 5 slices, and I have specific plans for the other 2 slices. So anyway. Exactly. You get the birthday person what they want, especially when it's your minor child. Okay. Yeah. Alright, these are comments from I'm the Devil. We're just gonna read a couple. Did someone without children write this? Of course a 5-year-old understands the candles are for someone else to blow out. Only if the parents are doing their jobs and teaching them. My youngest nephew wanted to blow the older one's candles out until he was about 8 or 9, and they let him do it, but only after they asked the older one if he's okay with it. He was, and only after he blew them out first. They asked him before the cake was even brought out. All the attention was in him, photos of him blowing his candles. Then they were just relit for the younger one to blow out quickly before the cake was cut. I feel like this was a good compromise. To let the 5-year-old blow his sister's candles before her, make the day about everyone but her, and then have the audacity to ground her because she felt shitty about it is so beyond horrible. Yeah, this is so messed up. Oh my god. This was a huge thing on TikTok, so I'm pretty sure it was fake. I hope so. This family blogger posted all of her younger kids blowing out her oldest daughter's birthday candles, and you can see the light in the girl around 11 to 13. Eyes go out. How old is the TikTok? Because I was thinking this is parents' POV of an older, am I the asshole, where kid finally has a mental breakdown when at 18. His parents still forced him to have his birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese and let his little sister blow out his candles and had a meltdown in front of the extended family. His parents had lied, said he'd agreed to do it again because he also loved his sister. I have seen that, I believe. Uh, not a. Yeah, I think I've read that story before. If not on video, at least I've read it before. Stealing her imaginary kid's name. Am I the asshole? My sister is stealing my baby name. Okay. Oh gosh. My sister, 27 female, is 8 months pregnant with her second child and plans to name her child the name I repeatedly said I wanted to name my daughter. I'm 23 female. We both heard the name the same time when our dad was recommending baby names for her first baby 2 years ago, and because her first child was a boy, she wasn't listening to or concerned with girl names my dad mentioned. When my dad said a specific girl name I loved, I said right there 2 years ago that I loved it and was going to name my daughter that in the future. My sister didn't care, object, or say anything because, again, she was only concerned with boy names. Now, 2 years later, she is having another baby, this time a girl, and now says she wants to name her the name that I claimed. She mentioned this when she knew it was a girl, and I was, of course, taken aback. And we went a little back and forth, but that was about it. We haven't spoken about it since, but I'm hearing from a lot of people that she is planning to name the name I claimed without telling me, so I can't object again. Her side is that I am not pregnant or expecting a girl like she is, so it's not fair to keep a name. This to me is so unfair because she knows very well. I hope to one day have children of my own, so what? She's a few steps ahead of me? Anyway, I hope this made sense. Am I the asshole for claiming the name and being mad at her? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. Am I the asshole for being mad at her for stealing the name I wanted for my daughter? Sorry, while I understand feeling slighted, nobody owns names. However, the good news about names is that nobody owns them. You can still name your future kid that name, and your sister can't stop you. In fact, you can let her know that your plans for the you can let her know that your plans for the name haven't changed, and when and if you have a girl, you'll still be using the name you told her you loved. Her having your niece won't change that. You don't own the name, and neither does she. Slight you're the asshole for trying to claim it because you really don't need to. Just use it also when the time comes. It's not like she can stop you. And like you said, she still she knows you wanted to use it. So she can't exactly get mad when you do what you already said you were going to. And then a deleted comment, and then someone replies, I have a lot of cousins with the same name as me. She will be fine. It's hypocritical to tell OP she can't claim a name, and then turn around and say the sister can just because she got pregnant first. At that point, it's just a race to birth a child first, and that's not good for anybody. Sister knew the OP liked the name and wanted to use it. Sister picked it anyway. She's 100% entitled to do that, but it doesn't mean she owns the name. OP is well within her rights to also use it. Why should she have to sacrifice the name she liked just because the sister decided to use it first? Nobody can lay claim to a name. Deleted comment. In some cultures, there are multiple cousins and family members with the same name, so it's definitely possible. Would be considered bad manners by who? Are you saying that your culture as manners are the only ones that matter? There's a lot of places where it's common for cousins to have the same name. Then you should also be making the argument that the sister has bad manners for using a name her sister has stated multiple times she plans to use herself. If it's bad manners, use a name that's already in the family, then it is equally as bad to use a name your sister told you she wants to use. Like I said, then it's just a race to get pregnant. Nobody owns names. The sister will get over it in the future, the way OP will have to get over it now. Using the name she loved doesn't make OP bad mannered, it makes her consistent. Sister knew OP was going to use the name and chose it anyway. That's her decision, but OP doing exactly what she said she was going to do from the beginning does not make her rude at all. And then the OP actually comments and says, Thanks for understanding how I can feel slighted and for your kind approach. There's no reason you can't still use the name. If your sister mentions it, just pretend not to care, but be clear you'll still be using the name. Say something about how cute it will be for the cousins to have the same first name. This is actually common in many families. Consider this. What if the father of your future child has his own ideas about names? Yeah, it sucks, especially because she didn't really care before, and now it looks like she's doing it to spite you. But her kid's name does not stop you from using the name. That's the name you want for your kid, so go ahead and use it when you have a girl. If she doesn't like it, that's her problem. Don't tell her any more names, only tell her names you hate. And if she uses those, then you know she's doing it on purpose, and keep all your favorite names quiet. Yeah, that's a good point too. She might be doing this on purpose just to be a dick. You can always tell your sister that you're planning on naming your future children the same and let her know that because she unfortunately can't accept the small boundary you set 2 years ago, you're unsure if you'll be able to be in her children's life moving forward because she's proven she doesn't have respect for your feelings. I'm sorry, but that is a huge overreaction. As someone who's cut off my sister in the past, that is a huge overreaction to cut someone off and not be in the future children's lives. Okay, anyway. And now we're back on r/AmItheDevil. I'm gonna read some of the comments from here. Baby name drama is like Bridezilla drama. It's the fucking dumbest shit ever, and I love it. I never understand it, but damn, people go hard about it. OOP was wrong from the jump. The dad was recommending names from the sis. The dad was recommending names to the sister. She was wrong as two left shoes to claim a name when nobody was even addressing her. These stories are so stupid. I always think about Cake Boss. So many buddies and Marys. So if ever even has a child, it's not like they'll be the same age. Even if they do have the same first name, the last name will probably be different. Brittany and Ashley were very common names when I was in school. There were three or four of them in my class every year. It wasn't a big deal. Even if the last name is the same, names like Ashley Jones and Brittany Smith are so common, no teacher would bat an eyelash about another student with that name. Exactly. I have two cousins named Hannah. I'm Sicilian. I've got at least eight Mary or Mary cousins. Family reunions were funny. I currently go to physical therapy, and there are three physical therapists named Megan. I would take the Monica Geller approach. Even if it's a name I love, I wouldn't love it more than my sibling. Moreover, I'd be happy that this name I love is being given to someone I will love forever. The nibbling. It could be a win-win situation for if OOP and her sister weren't busy trying to one-up each other. Don't we have one of these every other week? It'd be one thing if OP heard the name on her own a decade ago and the sister sniped it out from under her, but they heard it at the same time and the sister is pregnant now, so the sister wins. There's no winning or losing in this game. This is okay, whatever. On one hand, OOP can't claim a name, but I can see why she is hurt. There is no such thing as dibs on any name, just because someone wants to name a future possible baby that name. It's just ridiculous. What if OOP only has boys? Or what if she doesn't have babies at all? I mean, she could one decide not to have kids, two not be able to have kids, stuff like that. Okay. Blah 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 blah. All right, let's do one more. I want to do one more. Okay. Someone should warn her, and this one's tagged asshole from another realm. I, 37 male, want to try and get back with the one who got away. 36 female, is there any chance of that happening? This is originally from relationship advice, so we're over there now, and I'm going to read the story, and then I'm going to read the comments. I, 37 male, want to try and get back. Okay, I've been tearing myself apart just thinking about her and how things ended. I can't stop no matter how much I try. This is going to be a long post, and I know I'm writing a lot of rambling and nonsense. When I, 37 male, was 20, I met the most beautiful woman, Lila, who was 19 at the time. She was beautiful inside and out. She had the most gorgeous dark brown hair that looked red and purple when the light hit it just right. These golden brown eyes and lashes that looked like a doll's, freckles on her rosy plump cheeks, and a single dimple from when she smiled a certain way. She was a year younger than me, but yet she was always so much smarter and mature in every aspect. We dated for 2 years. I met her parents, and her no-nonsense cop father definitely gave me the stank eye at first, but he grew to like me. Her mom adored me right off the bat, always commenting on how my green eyes complemented her daughter's golden brown eyes in the most romantic way. I still don't fully understand what that means, but I liked the compliment. Her younger siblings loved playing in the backyard with me. She met my parents and my two brothers, and they all loved her right off the bat. My younger brother was the same age as her, and they were going to college together and would help each other study in some of the shared classes their majors had. Hell, even my 6-month-old dog I had adopted before even meeting her seemed to like her more than he liked me. She told me her dreams, how she wanted to own a home that was tucked away from everything but not completely isolated, how she wanted to be a doctor and that she wanted to help people. She wanted to be a pediatrician. She loved kids. She always said she wanted a family. She didn't care how many kids she had. She just wanted to experience the ups and downs of motherhood. She wanted the good, the bad, the ugly. I listened to her go on and on about baby names and how she would design a nursery. At this time, I thought I wanted kids too. I wanted to marry this girl and give her the family she so clearly wanted. She was my Lila. I wanted to stay with her forever. I was young, but I was so in love with her. After 2 years of dating, I started to realize that I didn't want to have kids. I thought I was just being around too many of my bratty cousins, and that was turning me off from the idea. But the more I thought about it, the more the idea of having to be a father made me sick. I would get headaches, and my stomach would twist in knots thinking about having to take care of some screaming, crying, and shitting little thing, and then have it grow into a tantrum throwing toddler, a bratty child, and then some moody teenager. I didn't want to be held down like that. I wanted to travel, have money, be free. After a few drinks one night, After a few drinks one night, I ended up telling all of this to Lila. I remember she went quiet and simply said, I won't try and change your mind, but I'm not giving up my dreams. I remember scoffing and rolling my eyes, telling her that we weren't going to have kids. She stood up from the couch and said, "You might not want that anymore, but I still do. I'm not going to try and force either one of our minds to change. Then one of us will end up miserable." I realized she was breaking up with me, and even though she was so calm and mature about it, I remember feeling so angry. She was walking around the apartment gathering things and being completely silent. I kept arguing with her, trying to change her mind. I kept telling her that it was stupid to want kids, that they were annoying and a waste of time. When she still didn't budge, I started to insult her. I said she was stupid, that she was a weak woman for wanting to be a mom, that she should just give up on being a doctor so she could push out her brats. Lila finally started to respond to me, telling me to calm down, that we simply wanted different things in life and that was okay. I hated her in that moment that she wasn't agreeing with me. I remember punching the wall of our apartment, kicking a door, throwing anything I could get my hands on. She watched me wreck our living room and kitchen, not saying a word. She walked past me and left. The whole thing happened over a few hours. In less than a day, I lost the love of my life, and my apartment was now trashed. Of course, news of why we broke up and my reaction to it reached my family. My mom cried hearing how I reacted. My dad gave me the coldest look I'd ever seen. My brothers both said I was an idiot, with my younger brother saying I was lucky Lila hadn't called the cops on me during that. That was 15 years ago. I tried to have relationships since, but they never lasted more than a few weeks. I travel around for work, but now I'm back in the same town Lila lives in. Lila got married, got her doctorate, had kids, and is still a pediatrician last I heard. I know my younger brother still kept some contact with her in the first few years after the breakup. He even invited her to his wedding, but she declined because she didn't want to cause drama. I'm back in her town, the town we both grew up in, dated in, lived in, and where she currently lives. I can't stop thinking about her. I miss her so much right now. I miss her sweet perfume that smelled like a bakery, her strawberry shampoo, the way her hair looks in the light. She's 36 now, and I want to reach out to her and make amends with her. I want to hold and hug her one last time, to tell her I love her and I'm sorry. I don't know if that's a good idea, but a part of me needs closure. I don't know what to do. I want to sweep her off my feet and have her be my love again, but I don't know if that ship has sailed already. Mm-hmm. What exactly makes you think she'd ever want to leave a man she's far more compatible with than you and the children she wanted for years, for a piss baby man child who threw a massive tantrum over breaking up because of irreconcilable differences? She has everything she's ever wanted. Why would she throw that away now? She has everything she's ever wanted. Why would she throw that away now? Okay, but does her husband appreciate the smell of her shampoo? And then the OP comes in here with minus 586 down votes, saying, "I'm not asking her to throw away anything she has right now. I just want her back in my life." You don't get to have her back in your life. It's not just that you didn't want kids, it's that you became violent and verbally attacked her. She'll never take you back. Do not try to force your way back into her life. Leave her alone. She doesn't want you back. Just because you're unhappy, that doesn't make it okay for you to storm in and sabotage her happiness. I'm gonna level with you here. If I heard somebody talk about me the way that you talk about this woman that you haven't seen in 15 years, I would file a restraining order against them. It's just, well, it's creepy. It's incredibly creepy and dehumanizing. And you need to know that before you make an ass of yourself trying to confess your love for obsession with her. She doesn't like you. She doesn't want to be with you. She doesn't have good memories of you. You're the psycho ex who pulled a bait and switch on her and then destroyed her apartment. You're the distant and fortunately over past. For everyone's sake, including your own, please keep it that way. Okay, but like, what role is she supposed to take in your life? If, hypothetically speaking, of course, if you had kids, she might be their doctor, but that's the only reason I can see her ever talking to you again. That's, of course, if she's the only pediatric doctor in your city. Hypothetically speaking, of course, if you had kids, she might be their doctor. Don't give him any ideas. Well, all that is hypothetical. Realistically, the first time she catches a glimpse of him, she's going to be filing for a TRO, and if she ever finds this post, it won't be so temporary. Part of me needs closure. You already have all the closure you need. She broke up with you because your life goals were incompatible. She's married with kids, the kids you didn't want, remember? And has a career as a pediatrician. Leave her alone. Also, like, closure doesn't ever really happen like people want. I could tell off the guy who totaled my car and killed my dog, but that isn't really closure. People seem to believe that talking to the other person about what happened and putting it all out there will mean closure. It doesn't. People think that after saying it, they will be happy and it will have fixed everything and answered all the questions. It doesn't. It still happened. Closure is about yourself. So his closure that he desperately needs is probably in the form of therapy, anger management, self-forgiveness, acceptance, etc. No point of his closure should involve her. I'm so sorry about your dog. Thank you. It's been just over 3 years, and these first 2 years of grieving were rough. She was 4 and my first dog ever. Aw, I miss her every day, but it gets easier to handle as time goes on. I lost mine to lymphoma at half her expected lifespan back in 2018, and it was horrible those first couple years after, so I sympathized so much. I couldn't get another dog for other reasons even once I was ready for one, but it's looking like that will finally change next year. I had a second dog at home during the accident. She's been amazing. I did end up getting another dog after about a month, and the two of them have been a lifesaver. I'm so sorry that you had to go through such an early loss. It seems tougher when you plan on having them for years and it gets cut short. I hope you are able to get another soon. It's tough to lose a fur baby, but life is better with one. Amen to that. Aw. I'm so sorry for the loss of your companion. Truly I am. I lost my 19-year-old cat in February, and I can't imagine losing her to an act of violence, and I agree with you. Closure is a myth. The more I've come to understand, believe, and accept this, the more peaceful and happy I've become. Letting go of the hope, or need, or desire for closure has done more for me than the scant 2 or 3 times that I did get closure ever did. Yeah, the real closure is coming to terms what he did to her and accepting the fact that he's the one who ruined everything. Not that they ever would have ridden off into the sunset together, but it's possible they could have stayed friends if he'd just talked to her about it like a grown up. But that kind of self work is really uncomfortable, so instead he's fixated on the idea of her and getting her back. Because if she's back in his life, then it's almost like he didn't do or say all the terrible shit he did and said, and he can just bury it and not have to think about it ever again. Which is not how that works, but yeah. And then the OP came. And then here's the OP again, and this time he has minus 711 downvotes. I thought I didn't want kids. I'm 100% sure it would have been different had it been me and hers kids. I just want to see her again. I miss her. There's not a day that goes by where I don't regret just not talking things out with her. Leave her alone. Unless you want a restraining order served on you, that is. Okay. Guy, this is called obsession. She is married with children. She isn't available to you. I can also guarantee, given your violent reaction, that you were her cautionary tale in her life story. You've made up a whole fantasy as time passed, where she will remember you as the violent man that demeaned her after pulling out the rug from under her. Summary, she does not feel the way you don't and won't ever. You've made up a fantasy in your head. You are at a point of dangerous obsession, given your inability to be with anyone the past 6 months. You need to go process this with a therapist before you do something crazy and get hit with an order of protection or worse, hurt someone. Haha, you would be lucky she remembered your name. Seriously, what the fuck? Are you just bored or brain damaged? Given how violent he was when she broke up with him, it's not out of the question that she still has nightmares about this idiot. Guess what? They're not. If you do see her again, I hope she carries bear spray. Leave her and her family alone. I'm 100% sure it would have been different had it been me and hers kids. This sentence doesn't make any sense. What do you even mean? You two broke up because you didn't want kids at all, not because she was carrying someone else's child. If you stayed together and made kids, those kids would be your and her kids. Kids you told her you didn't want. I thought I didn't want kids. I'm 100% sure it would have been different had it been me and hers kids. Then why I what do you mean you're 100% sure? What do you mean by that? Bro, she broke up with you because you didn't want kids. Kids from your sperm sac that would have gone into her womb. The kids would have been yours, but you still didn't want them. That was your decision. Get some help before it gets you. Not defending him at all, but I know I don't want kids. I was only willing to have them with one person because I knew he'd be an amazing dad and he's my soulmate. He was willing to not have them for me, but I knew it was important to him. We had a very serious discussion about it about a week before he died. Fuck, that took a turn. So while I know I don't want kids, it was just different with him. But now that he's gone, that is not something I want with anyone else. However, we had a serious, sober discussion about it. I didn't get drunk, angry, and belittle him for wanting to be a dad. She doesn't miss you. She doesn't want to see you. To her, you are the violent, verbally abusive, controlling bullet she dodged years and years ago. She doesn't think of you fondly. She thanks her lucky stars for her life now. You haven't given any indication she might be interested in seeing you. So once more, this is all about you. How have you not grown up in 15 years? How are you still so self-absorbed? I've dated a few entitled self I've dated a few self-entitled jerks, though though none who were violent. When any of them occasionally crosses my mind, my thought is, I'm so glad he's gone. A feeling of relief warms me like a good red wine, and then I go on with it, and then I go on with whatever I'm doing. Okay. I'm 100% sure it would have been different had it been me and hers kids. Okay, so you were the one that didn't give that idea a chance. You instead tried to convince her that kids were a bad idea, and when that didn't convince her, you went on to insult her dreams and her as a person. This is all on you. Instead of realizing it, coming to peace with you, fucking this up big time, and actually growing up and maturing mentally, you're over here trying to find ways to see a happily married woman to do what? Convince her to come back to you? Give you a certain type of hug only reserved for romantic partners? She is married and hasn't given you a real thought in years because she's actually moved on and is busy living her dreams with her family. Even if you two did get back together, I just have to say, even if you two did get back together somehow on some insane planet, how would that even work? It would be 100% different if it was me and her kids. If it was me and hers kids. If you do get back together, then what is going to happen to the kids she has now? Like, what are you going to do? If you did get married, if you did get together and like get married because, it's one of those because let's just pretend it's one of those books that romanticizes abuse and you guys get together and get married and then and you guys get together and get married, what is going to happen to her kids? Like, she already has the kids, and you're going to be their stepdad. So then what? Then what? Huh? You're not going to give a fuck about the kids, and you're going to probably try and convince her to just throw them away and have kids with you instead. Like, do you just expect her to abandon her kids so she can be with you? Alright, this has been long enough. I might take a little break and come back later, we'll see. But I need a break right now, either way. I might come back tomorrow, I might come back later, we'll see. I don't know if this is gonna be the entire video or not. If it is, I'll come back and do an outro. But if not, then I will be back to do more recording. Okay, bye. Hey guys, I'm back the next day and I'm gonna do a little more reading of r/AmItheDevil. I'm gonna do a few stories and my mom's getting home really late tonight, so I'm just not gonna I can record before she comes home and then I'll be uploading this later. So anyway, so let's start with the post from r/Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for not cooking dinner and for calling my wife lazy? I, 38 male, and my wife, 35 female, Anna, have been together 10 years. We have two boys together, ages 8 and 1. I work in a high stress sales position. Anna is a stay at home mom and works part time from home, doing appointment setting. Yesterday, I was able to get off work a few hours early and called Anna on my hour-long drive home and told her I'd make dinner because she does nearly all of the cooking. She was happy and said she'd do all of the food prep for me to save me time, which I appreciated. As I was driving, I started to feel extremely tired, so when I got home, I said a quick hello to Anna and the kids and went to lay down and ended up falling asleep. The kids had already eaten, as Anna doesn't believe in making them wait for a meal if they are hungry. I woke up hungry 3 hours later as Anna was doing the bath and bedtime routine with the baby. I ended up making something super quick and easy for myself to eat and was finishing up when Anna came back into the kitchen. She asked me if I ate, and I said I had. She asked where hers was, and I told her I didn't think about that because of how tired I was, but she's welcome to make herself something. Anna pointed out that I said I'd cook for us tonight, and she'd been expecting me to. I'll admit that got under my skin, and I told her she could obviously see I was exhausted, and there's no reason she could not have just fixed the meal for both of us. Anna said, "Whatever, I'll just microwave some frozen fish sticks. That's better than eating nothing." By then, I was seriously irritated and snapped at her. "That's fucking disgusting. Don't blame it on me that you're too lazy to bother cooking when you can clearly see how tired I am." Anna pretty much told me to fuck off and went into another room, and so did I. After cooling down for about an hour, I went to the guest room where Anna was and tried to cuddle with her and initiate some adult fun time, which she clearly rejected by telling me not to touch her until I've apologized and meant it. I really don't feel like I did anything wrong. Anna could tell how tired I was, especially since I fell asleep soon after getting home. There was also no reason that Anna could not have cooked the dinner herself so we could enjoy a meal together after I woke up. I did not intentionally not cook dinner. Am I the asshole? Yes, you are. Okay, let's see. You're the asshole. It amuses me how people attempt to make themselves look like a martyr. Oh my, a high-stress sales job, an hour-long drive. Perhaps you should have stopped at a lumber yard to get two long 2x4s so you could make a cross so you can nail yourself to it. My dude, you promised to cook. You fell asleep because you were so tired. She let you sleep because you were so tired and was handling the kids, and you just made yourself something to eat. She didn't even cross your mind, and neither did your promise. Then you start insulting what she's making for herself because you broke your promise. What's the matter with you? And then expected sex. I'm sorry, I thought you were just so tired. Well, by then he had his big boy nap. How did her panties just drop? Slash S. Well, that seemed normal enough. Who isn't turned on by martyrdom? It amazes me how some men can act like a total asshole and then think his penis will make everything all better. Because they think it has superpowers that will make everything better. He cuddled with her, so it was okay. Slash S. God, what a child. He needed his nappy wappy because he was sweepy weepy. What a selfish baby. His wife has three jobs, a stay-at-home mom, a part-time job, and putting up with her husband's BS apparently. You're the asshole. The 2x4 comment and the skull and crossbones emoji. You're the asshole. All you had to do was say, sorry, but I'm exhausted. Would you mind making something simple for us to eat while I have a nap? She was letting all your bad behavior slide, and you had to rant at her about how tired you are. Can't you see I'm tired? I'm tired. I could only make food for me. Now you are treating me badly. And then you wanted to be intimate? Dude, your wife is not a blow up doll. She has feelings. This. I can totally understand falling asleep if you were exhausted, but the audacity of this man for making food for himself and then getting pissy that his wife is upset that he didn't make anything for her. Unreal. And then he wants to have sex. OP is completely self centered with no regard for anyone but himself. Absolutely, you're the asshole here. You're the asshole. You got off work early, promised to cook for your wife, who's working two jobs simultaneously, took a nap instead, woke up 3 hours later to your wife still working, decided to just make food for yourself, and then you have the audacity to call her lazy, and then you still thought you'd try to get lucky? Your poor wife has three children, no partner, and the biggest baby is the bunch of you. Of the biggest baby of the bunch is you. You're the asshole. You offered her to make dinner. You didn't do that and you made yourself food without even considering her at all. You don't get to treat your wife like shit because you lied to her. Your excuses are garbage and honestly, you seem like a terrible spouse. You just dangled something over her head and then when she asked for it, you slapped her in the face. Treat your wife better. And then he just assumed that she wanted to have sex with him. No wonder she felt used. He's got some serious apologizing to do. The man needs a lobotomy, lol. By the way, I want to say this person's username is what hoes around comes. That last line, I did not intentionally not cook dinner. I'm sorry, but did you not intentionally lay in bed well exhausted and fell asleep? How the fuck did you think dinner was going to get made? You're the asshole big time and you owe her a huge apology. Literally all you needed to do was say, I know I'm offered to make dinner, but I didn't realize how exhausted I am. I'm going to lay down and can cook afterwards, or if you don't want to wait, feel free to make yourself something. And to try and have sex afterwards, way to show her you don't care about her feelings at all, and as long as your needs are met, that's all that matters. I'm too exhausted to cook, let's order pizza would have worked equally well. He intentionally made dinner for one person. You're the asshole. You offered to cook to give your wife a break, to which she even offered to prep for you to save time. Instead, you took a long nap when you got home and then fixed yourself something to eat. You didn't even consider her while she was taking care of your kids. Then you snapped at her and called her lazy because she was just going to make something simple for herself. I would honestly take a moment to reflect on your behavior and how you would react if she had called you lazy for taking a nap instead of doing what you said you would. You should apologize to your wife and fix her a nice dinner. You hit a new level of selfish jerk behavior. Just wow. So you come home early, don't help your wife who's still doing her high stress job of a stay at home mom to take a 3 hour nap. She's still working, by the way, with your children and still no help from you. You're upset she didn't cook while you are, checks notes, sleeping, even though you promised to do that. So you cook for yourself only without asking if your wife has had a chance to eat anything yet, which she hasn't, so you have the audacity to snap at her when she's upset about you not making anything for her, or checking if she wants anything, and you called her the lazy one. Then you expect her to want to cuddle, let alone adult time with you, and you refuse to see anything wrong with how you treat your spouse. You're the asshole. You offered to make dinner and you didn't. The least you could do if you didn't feel like cooking anymore is order some food. You apologized to be, or you offered to be in charge of dinner. Apologize to your wife and do better. This is bait, right? They're trying to get in her pants while she's still mad is what puts it over the edge for me. I'm not saying there aren't people that clueless, but that feels like the icing on the obvious outrage cake. Honestly, my ex would do shit like this, be completely useless, never do what he said he would, then be shocked that I didn't just get naked for him as soon as he wanted. Been separated for 8 years now, he still doesn't understand how it went wrong. I could go to the Olympics for the eye rolls I can perform. I have had and have a partner who would try to have sex when I'm upset, so not obvious outrage, there are dudes like that. I thought so too. I hope it is. Absolutely, I refuse to believe a person like this really exists out of the first 30 minutes of a rom-com, where this guy becomes the ex before she meets her real soulmate. You're the asshole. First, if she works part time, she's not a stay at home mom. She's a mom who works part time. Second, and this should be obvious to anyone, if you say you're going to do something for someone, you need to do it or let the person know that you can't for whatever reason. An apology would be nice too. But her job is so much less stressful because she just schedules appointments. Slash eye roll. You're the asshole. You made a commitment and didn't follow through on your commitment. Explain why you would not apologize for that. I think this was wage bait if you didn't sound like my ex-husband, which is what you're likely to be to Anna at this rate. But you're the asshole. One, you promised to make dinner. Two, you slept through all the heavy lifting of evening parenting. Three, criticize her parenting, the keeping kids on a schedule. Four, only cook for herself. Five, chastise her for what she does choose to eat. Six, fuck up and still want sexy time. You're the asshole. Wow. There was a reason she didn't cook you two dinners. She took care There was a reason she didn't cook you two dinner. She took care of your two kids. You're finding every excuse under the sun to excuse your terrible behavior. I get being tired, but you had a 3 hour nap. You absolutely could have cooked that dinner and you know it. Instead, you decided to behave like a petulant kid. The fact that you went into the guest room where your wife was because she didn't want to share a bed with you and tried to initiate sex is really beyond me. You're the asshole. You clearly stated that you were going to make dinner that night, and your wife even meal prepped to make it easier for you. Don't make promises and then get mad when the other person expects you to follow through. On top of that, you insulted your wife for expecting you to make dinner when you said you would and got offended when she didn't want to engage in intercourse after being insulted. OP, you need to evaluate yourself and your attitude. You're the asshole. You promised to make dinner. If you feel like you're no longer up to it, you need to communicate that like an adult. Use your words. Don't project your own mistake or failure onto your wife. You didn't even apologize. She just went to sleep and let her handle. You just went to sleep and let her handle everything by herself. And when you finally woke up, you made food for yourself only. How selfish can you be? And insulted your wife when she was disappointed. And perhaps the most unbelievable brain fart of yours to try to initiate sex with your wife when she was hungry and exhausted because of you. What was the foreplay? Guilt tripping? You're the worst. If you value her at all, you apologize and take her out to dinner, bare minimum. You're the asshole times a million. I don't think I've ever felt so bad for the other party, i.e., Anna, in one of these threads before. Setting aside who was an asshole, you seriously need to reflect. You're the asshole. Don't say you're going to do something and then not do it. Simple. Right? I know, you would think it would be that simple, but I still have arguments with my mom all the time about not keeping her promises. So, you know, info. Why would it have been more tiring to make dinner for two instead of one? Why did it get under your skin that your wife expected you to do something you said you'd do? Why would she have just fixed the meal for both of you after you said that you'd do so? How is the person doing bath and bed routine for a baby more lazy than the person sleeping on the couch? What makes microwaving fish sticks more disgusting than misleading your wife? How do you interpret microwaving fish sticks as blaming you? Why would it be more tiring to make dinner for two than to have sex? What made you think your wife would want to have sex after you treated her this way? Additional, if you have volunteered to take on a task at work, then napped and yelled at someone for not picking up your slack, what would have happened? If that what is that why you won't do that at work but feel comfortable treating your wife like this? You're the asshole by miles, dude. She had been with the kids all day and you were the one who offered to cook. So she feeds your children and lets you sleep, even though I bet she'd love a nap herself. And then you made dinner for just yourself and not her and are whining about it on Reddit. I hope she doesn't cook dinner for you for a few weeks since you clearly have no appreciation for what she does. There was actually an episode of The Amazing World of Gumball that was like that, where Richard decided not to do his fatherly duties anymore because he thought that Nicole didn't appreciate them. And I thought the joke was gonna be that absolutely nothing changed and everything went on perfectly fine without him and he wouldn't give up the stupid strike. But no, things actually went badly, and it actually turns out that Richard does a lot for the kids. It was really good. I love that stuff. Anyway, all right. We've already got a lot of comments on here. I think it's time to go back over to Am I the Devil and read some comments over there. So he's too tired to cook, but he can cook for himself and tries to initiate adult fun time. He regretted his offer to cook and took a nap to force her to cook instead, and got mad when his plan backfired. This could have all been solved if he communicated with his wife instead of expecting her to read his mind about how tired he is. If he just told her work took a lot more out of him and he's exhausted, she could have either eaten with the kids or waited for him to wake up, and they could have made dinner together for the two of them. She was waiting to eat because they made plans to eat together. Outside of him not cooking, if someone made plans to eat with me, I would be upset they ate by themselves without thinking of me. That's the thing. I don't think this was about him being tired. I think he looks down on her working part time and being a part full time, and he was driving home being all resentful that she was at home all day, and he decided to stick it to her. And of course, she didn't read his mind, so his plan didn't work. She didn't make dinner, so he kept trying to punish her, first by making food for him but not her, then by calling her fish sticks disgusting, then by calling her lazy. Then he realized his plan backfired and he wasn't going to get sex, so he tried to initiate anyway, and it didn't work. He got off work a few hours early, but she didn't. She was parenting the whole time he was asleep. She was still working when he made himself food, and he mentions this, but no acknowledgement of it. Just the acknowledgement of, well, she could see that I was tired. She just should have cooked for me. Absolutely. Him making just himself food sealed this for me. He got up from his nap, expecting her to have made dinner for both of them, and found nothing ready to eat, and snoddily made just himself food and then tried to punish her for it. I don't even think he thought his plan backfired with the sex. She went to the guest room to sleep, so he didn't feel like he was still winning. So he thought he'd try and make her have sex with him, because if she still has sex with him despite being mad, then going to the guest room would be overreacting and attention seeking. Also, if she disengages and just goes to the guest room, then who gets to continue being the punching bag for his tantrum? Right? Or bring home takeout. Exactly. Just get fast food. If you really can't cook dinner because you're that exhausted, just get food. Just pick up food or order pizza or I don't know, something. Do something. You could have come home, ordered the pizza, then took your nap while, you were sleeping, and then you and your wife could have eaten together. What a cringe phrase as well. Adult fun time. I personally call it spicy cuddles. Dang. Welcome to parenthood. Adult fun time is a code phrase. He still sucks, but don't diss on his word choices. That's totally a thing. When you're around your kids, sure, we're online. You can just say sex. Yeah, we're all adults here. And if they're not adult, and if these kids aren't adults and they're still online, then they've seen too much already. I mean, I don't think kids should be online like all over the place all the time. I'm not sure that's the best thing for them. Like, I wouldn't let my son make a Twitter until like a few months ago. So, yeah. I mean, it makes sense to me. He probably just lays there and makes her do all the work before he rolls over and goes to sleep. People saying he could or should have asked her to cook as he was too tired, but I don't agree. He said he would cook. He got off work early and the guy took a 3 hour nap. He slept for several hours but was still too tired to cook for her. Yeah, he never intended to cook. Wife being a stay at home mom is already having a full time job. Then she has another part time job on top of it, but his job is just so much more tiring than her silly woman's work that he just couldn't fulfill his promise. And well, what does she expect from him? Slash S. And then after his nap, when he was still too tired to cook for her, he suddenly had enough energy for sex. The type to say, it's the thought that counts, she should be grateful, and the appropriate response is, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. It's never the thought that counts if the thought was the only effort you made. and tried to cuddle with her and initiate some adult fun time, which she clearly rejected by telling me not to touch her until I've apologized and meant it. Are you kidding me? In capital letters. Honestly, that's the part that makes me think the whole thing is bait. It's just too above and beyond obvious assholery. Oh, there are people like that. They do exist, and I grew up with one of them, unfortunately. Ugh, what a terrible pair of parents. No, that wasn't my thoughts on the post as a whole. That's the title of the next post. My oldest son attacked my younger son and his girlfriend, and this one is from Chew Off My Chest. I'm overwhelmed with guilt and need advice on a recent family crisis. My younger son, 21, discovered that my middle son, 25, had been having an affair with his girlfriend, 22, who is now pregnant. The betrayal was devastating for him. Me, my husband and I called a family meeting to address the situation with just my middle son, my younger son, and us. We wanted to express our anger towards my middle son, but also make it clear that we still wanted to be involved in the grandchild's life. Unexpectedly, my younger son brought his older brother, who's 29, along. My older son was recently released from jail. He is a large man, 6'3", with a troubled past involving steroid abuse and frequent fights. He's a masochist with a volatile temper. Although we knew about his temper, we couldn't have anticipated how out of control he would become. When they arrived, my older son immediately began attacking my middle son. Despite our attempts to stop him, he was too powerful and relentless. The attack was brutal. My middle son ended up with a broken arm, multiple bruised ribs, and a concussion. What? My younger son's girlfriend was also struck in the stomach and had to be rushed to the hospital to ensure the baby's safety. Oh my god. During the assault, my older son expressed his anger towards us, calling us losers for how we handled the situation. His outburst was shocking and escalated the violence. Now he's back in jail and my younger son has cut off contact with us. I feel heartbroken and deeply responsible for how the situation spiraled out of control. Despite our attempts to intervene, I really need advice because I'm lost on what to do. Oh my goodness. Okay. Alright. Welp, we know which son is the golden child. Coming from a family with one emotionally unstable parent, one emotionally absent parent, and three siblings, our birth order personalities are definitely what you'd expect. Eldest was the most damaged, the middle was the golden child, the youngest was the forgotten child. As adults, it's made for a super disjointed family. There is a lot of resentment between us siblings. I come from the same. I'm the middle, and I was the golden child. The youngest is the golden child in my home. My folks never showed out for anything I did. They never missed the youngest, though. My brothers and I do not get along. Hmm. I'm one of six. It was like they had two sets of kids. They didn't even see us older kids graduate. We were the homemakers and the babysitters. Couldn't do sports, etc., but younger three got it all and still does. Sucks, but it is what it is. My older brother and I took care of my younger brother so my folks could work and have their dates and whatnot. Hell, to be completely honest, my parents didn't really raise me much during my first 8 years of life. My dad's friends did. Then my younger brother came around and we were back with my folks. But they looked at me like I shouldn't be there. They heavily favored the youngest of us. He played sports his entire career. I couldn't until I was old enough to work and pay for my own gear. To this day, even though he doesn't speak to them hardly at all. If he calls for anything, they come running. If I need any help, my mom tries. My dad tells me to figure it out myself. So yeah, not a great relationship with any of my family overall, and it was all due to favoritism. I'm sorry it hurts, especially when it continues into adulthood and even affects the grandkids. One of nine. I agree. Three sets of three, the big boys, the little kids, and the three in the middle were just our three names. Run together. We got dumped on all the housework, big boys too busy, and all the child care. It sucked. Wow, I relate to this so much. I'm one of four with a set of younger twin siblings of younger twin sisters who always and still got everything while I was the oldest and had the pleasure of being the constant babysitter, cook, laundry doer, and drove the twins around person. In the end, it made me more independent as a young adult, but man, it would have been nice to have spent my teenage years being a teenager sometimes. Yeah, that's something that happens a lot, sadly, and I was part of it. I mean, my dad didn't, my dad was forcing me to grow up too fast, and I had to take care of my sister because we didn't exactly have a good family dynamic. But it didn't actually lead to any resentment between us. Well, from me, she might have some resentment towards me. I'm not really sure. We haven't talked in a couple years, so I mean, she it could have ended up that way. I don't know. We haven't spoken since February 2022, so, just sucks. But I don't know. Maybe she has some resentment towards me. I don't think I'm ever gonna know because she never talks to me about that stuff, even though, I would listen to it, but just not into it. But, I never resented her because of that, because I understood that it wasn't her fault, that she was the golden child. Mm. I'm so sorry. Do you resent your younger sibling for it? I'm in the middle as well, but am the only girl, so I assume that may play a part. Because of my childhood, I have a lot of half-baked theories about birth order. I feel a lot of guilt about being treated differently than my brothers, and I wish I could go back and do things differently. One sibling doesn't talk to anyone in our family, and one is a good friend. I do absolutely resent him. He was the favorite and got everything. He was never questioned. He did wrong, and I got punished for it. Now we're adults, and he has nothing to do with my parents. And that's called justice. You shouldn't either. Your parents made their bed, and now they lie in it. Not your problem anymore. Why do you have anything to do with your parents? But he was a child. I was too. I'm not even 30 yet. Exactly. Right. And he may still be kind of a dick if you are both that young, but it doesn't change the fact that your parents are the ones who treated you differently, and children can only respond to the way they are treated, to the way they are treated. Your parents won't be around forever, although they will for quite a while. It is up to the two of you to decide if you want to have a good sibling bond. It's possible if you both admit that you were both damaged by the different treatment. Yeah, I feel like that's exactly what happened with me and my sister, and that's why our relationship isn't going to work because she won't admit to anything that happened or the damage or anything. I truly don't think either of us want to be even friendly. We interact for birthdays and holidays. Other than that, he only reaches out if he needs his car fixed. That's all, and I have no interest in reaching out myself either. We are both damaged, we both know it. We just don't get along. Never have and never will. Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened with my sister. And until she admits everything that happened in the past, our relationship is never going to work, which might be never. Alright, now we're back on our slash Am I the Devil. We're going to read some comments over here. If the meeting was only between the parents and the youngest and middle son, how did the girlfriend manage to get punched in the stomach? The oldest son used his masochism superpowers to punch her at a distance. But seriously, what does OOP think masochism means? I definitely think mixing it up with sadism or something like that. Uh, she must have teleported in. That's what I was wondering. Made it seem fake to me, but what do I know? It's a fake story. That's the kind of details that I trip up on. That they trip up on. Yeah, the top comment on that thread is spot on. Three sons and all are terrible. Youngest is the least, but he did use his psycho older brother to retaliate in their own ways. You have to look at the parents and how they raised them. Youngest is the least, but he did use his psycho older brother to retaliate. Youngest son, Hulk, smash! Oldest son proceeds to smash. Stelios Kontos, he was as mean as he was good. You have to say it in Stan's voice. He is just as bad. He knew it was going to happen. He didn't bring the eldest brother to have his back in meaningful conversation. Gotta wonder if my younger son's girlfriend was also struck in the stomach, was on purpose or not. That was absolutely on purpose. I honestly question if the intent was to have the older attack. It seems like this was a situation of the parents trying to trying to steamroll the youngest into just accepting all of this for the sake of the child, so that he didn't cut contact with them when they made it clear they were going to chastise but accept the brothers' relationship. As someone else in the comments says, it gives the vibe that the oldest always got the brunt of the strict parenting, and the middle of is the golden boy, while the youngest is forgotten by everyone but the oldest. If I knew I was about to be guilted and steamrolled into sucking it up and accepting it, I too would bring support regardless of the volatile history of said support. I mean, honestly, would you have trouble going alone without a muscly older sister who isn't a whore and a traitor? You know they were just going to steamroll over the younger sibling. We have seen it before. For all we know, the younger sibling just just sit with me when it happens, but older sibling got mad because of how bad it was. Honestly, OOP's family is lucky it isn't worse. Honestly, I have a few questions about the oldest being a masochist. Me too. I suppose that they meant to be sadist. Yeah, if he was a masochist, he would have punched himself. LOL, that would have been great. Older brother comes in and just punches himself as everyone watches in shock. I'm so tough, I'll kick my own ass. I don't know. If he enjoys the pain, then he might be more impervious to defensive attacks. I don't think anyone's going to attack defensively on him because of everything that happened. But I so feel bad for the younger son. Also, the middle son in this situation. I mean, the whole thing all around is just sucky. Like, yeah, but I mean, the middle son was the one that was having an affair, though, so I don't really feel too bad for him. But, I kind of feel bad for all those kids growing up in that situation, like growing up with that emotionally complicated situation. But anyway, okay, just ew. And this one comes from r/parenting. How do I repair the relationship with my son? Ooh boy. Uh, Adult children 18 plus years is the tag here. I am losing my son due to my relationship. I am a professor at a I am a professor at a university. I was a single mom, 44 female, for quite a while. The person I'm dating now is a student of mine. Hmm. I've always kept things professional between us. We just happened to bump into each other when he was a recent graduate. He is 1 year older than my son. Okay. Hmm. I always say, like, if you're of legal age, you can date whoever you want. Like, I don't really see it as a problem, but I also think that we should raise the age of consent because in a lot of places it's either 16 or 18, which that's not right. That's just not right. And 18-year-olds, their brain isn't even fully developed yet. Like, they're barely an adult. I don't think they should qualify as an adult and be of the legal age to date whoever they want. I think it should at least be like 20 or 21 to be the legal age in all countries, but Ugh, anyway. My son knew I was seeing someone, but not exactly who. My son found out about the relationship in the worst possible manner. I think you know what I'm talking about when I first introduced him to my son. My son acted very belligerent when he first met my boyfriend. My son recognized him because they went to the same college and probably shared a class together. Oh gosh. He started shouting expletives and started saying, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" My boyfriend left out of respect. I had a huge argument with my son. I tried to calm him down and tell him I understand he's uncomfortable with it right now. I even told him if he needs any time or accommodation, I'm more than happy to talk to him about it. He started going off how his reputation in his school would be tarnished, even though he's graduating 2 years late and all his friends have already graduated. My son was cold towards me throughout the entire he would only speak when he had to make snide remarks throughout the entire. That's the sentence. The sentence ends there. I have no idea what she was trying to say. He would only speak when he had to make snide remarks about me meeting my boy toy whenever I stepped out of the house. It came to a point where I had a proper sit down conversation with him. I told him he can air out how he feels. He says he feels his boundaries have been violated and creeped out. He started asking what I could possibly see in someone close to his age. I told him how my relationship formed with my current boyfriend. After all that explanation, I begged him to please give it a chance. He begrudgingly said he would. However, his attitude didn't really change for the better. When I formally invited my boyfriend to my house, my son would barely make small talk with my boyfriend, when my boyfriend would initiate the conversation. There was something really off with my son's behavior. He started acting really needy. It was like he was competing with my boyfriend for my attention. Whenever I had to shoot down plans with him because I already made plans with my boyfriend, my son would look sad. He would say things like, I guess he makes you more happy, or he's more important to you, I get it. I got tired of assuring my son that I still love him and it's a completely different relationship. He would accuse me of being dishonest and say that on paper my boyfriend is a better individual on paper. Uh, he would talk about how my boyfriend is graduating on time and has a better social life than him. I eventually felt bad, but I got fed up with his behavior. My boyfriend tried many times to be friendly and eventually gave up. There was an incident where my son was being rude to him by ignoring him, and my boyfriend got fed up. My boyfriend told him to stop acting like a man child and mama's boy and to respect the fact that I can date whoever I want. Before I could respond, my son says, "Just because you're banging my mom doesn't mean you get to talk to me like that. Go F yourself." My boyfriend walked it off. When I came back from vacation with my boyfriend, my son's stuff was gone. I was shocked and immediately called him. He luckily picked up and said he moved to his grandma's. He said he's going to take a loan to graduate. He said he tried his best, but he couldn't handle it. My son said it's clear I moved on with my life without him and I should do the same. My boyfriend said I should keep in contact with my son, but this might pan out well for everyone. He said this space can give him time to self reflect on his behavior. I still felt sad that my son didn't want to be around him. Yesterday, I found out I'm not going to be invited to his graduation ceremony in the spring. I'm at a loss. Okay, I'm confused. Where is this graduation happening? Is this a graduation from college? University. Okay, so the kid is in in their 20s perhaps. Okay. Yeah, in their 20s. I'm not sure exactly. It would have been nice if she included the ages of the son and the boyfriend so we could understand a little better, but we really need to um do something, and I think it's disgusting that in some places that the legal age is like 16. That's gross. 16 is still a child. Uh, like 18, I can kind of understand, but 16 is a fucking child. And I am not going to let my 16-year-old date an 18 or 19-year-old. I'm not going to let my 16-year-old date whoever they want just because it's the legal age. My boyfriend told him to stop acting like a man child and mama's boy. Says the man with a mother complex. I don't know what you're expecting here unless you had your son at an extremely young age. This boyfriend is barely in his mid 20s. He was your student. He went to your son's school. There is a whole host of moral issues with this relationship, but the ultimate issue is the fact that he's 1 year older than your son. Just because he's an adult and you can date whoever you want doesn't mean there are no consequences. Well, yeah, that's true too. If my mother ever came home with a boyfriend 1 year older than me, I would never speak to her again because the fact is, it's fucking creepy. And I'm sure I'll get the age gap apologists for all up my shit for infantilizing adults, but I don't really care. You should never find people the same as your own damn age kids as your own damn kids attractive. Okay, yeah, I disagree with that there. Like, if the son is 30, for example, and she is, I don't know, 52 or something, then yeah, she can date a 30-year-old if she wants. But I don't know. Yo, she even posted in the age gap subreddit, and even they are tearing her apart. She's posted in like 4 different subs looking for anyone to tell her she's not a morally bankrupt perv, and almost everyone is like, ew. The mods removing the post because they only want to hear positive stories about creepy middle aged individuals lusting after barely adults slash young adults would be funny if it wasn't so sad. That was a beautiful read. I tend to avoid such subs because they're so overwhelmingly toxic. Looking at you, step parent sub, so it's pleasant to read people pointing the ick out. OP hasn't made any comments in any of their posts, so I'm going with fake to save my brain. Sorry, but no child would be comfortable with their parent dating someone their age. You have to accept that your son is taking care of himself, and that means you not being part of his life. You sound kind of pervy. A 20-year age difference is too much, especially when your boyfriend is barely an adult himself. As it always goes in these situations, it would be extremely weird if the genders were switched. No questions asked. If this were a 40-year-old male professor dating a 20-year-old student, it would be obvious OP was in the wrong. And yet, because it's an older woman doing it, nobody sees anything wrong with it. Literally every comment is saying it's wrong. What are you talking about? Well, it seems obvious to all the commenters that OP is in the wrong, and there are many male OPs in real life who similarly refuse to accept that they are in the wrong. Weird, creepy age gaps are weird no matter the gender. Okay, I don't know. Hmm. For what I got from the university is that the boyfriend is like 21 or 22 maybe, I'm not sure. Like um but also that her son is graduating a couple years later than his friends, so it might go up to maybe, I don't know, 23, 24, maybe even 25. I'm not sure the exact ages. It would have been helpful. Again, it would have been helpful. Actually, I'm gonna check out this person's profile and see if I can find one with the actual ages. And if you want to worry about if you are so worried about losing your son due to this relationship that you are in, which frankly, I'm not even sure that this isn't a grooming situation. I'm not just going to automatically say, yeah, she definitely groomed him because I don't really have a lot of evidence for that, but you might have groomed him. I'm just going to say that. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying for sure one way or the other. I'm just saying it's definitely a possibility. But anyway, and if you're, but anyway, if you're so worried about losing your son due to your relationship, what you do is you break off the relationship if you don't want to lose your kid. So you have to choose either your son or your boyfriend, but it seems that you've already chosen because you didn't listen to anything he said and you don't care how he feels about it and you just, you do whatever you just go ahead and do whatever you want, which you're an adult, you can do whatever you want, but that doesn't mean there aren't consequences for your actions. Like, yeah, I can go up and stab someone, but that just means I'm going to jail for a long time. Like, there are consequences to my actions. It doesn't mean I can just stab someone and have nothing bad happen to me and just get away with it. Like, that's not how the world works. I think I mentioned last night about how I had some financial problems due to buying my hamster, and I've just had to deal with it, and my mom and I are trying to figure it out right now, but this is a mistake I definitely can't make again because my mom isn't going to help me next time. But anyway, yeah, I am losing my son due to my relationship. Okay, this one is posted in r/age gap. And the same post, blah blah blah. Okay, yeah, it has doesn't mention the ages anywhere. Okay, but let's see. I want to see the comments in here actually. After catching you fucking, moving out is like the only sensible reaction. So if your boyfriend was your student and your son was a classmate, then you are at the same university as your son. Hey, isn't your mom the cougar professor who fucks students? And you are surprised he doesn't want you around the graduation ceremony? 4 billion men on this planet. Sheesh. Yeah, I know. Many of them, and I'm pretty sure at least a few of them are in their 40s or, late 30s to early 40s, somewhere around your age. Pretty sure they're the same age as you, at least a few of them. Your son has made a choice to not be part of your life because you made a choice to continue your relationship. Despite your son's discomfort, he might not get over it. He might. He might get over it. He might not. Chances are he will. You have to analyze whether or not you want to see your boyfriend, whether or not you see you and your boyfriend going far enough to warrant having your son go no contact with you. You've made a choice as an adult, and your son has made his. You have to be okay with not being part of his life until he's ready to come back into yours. It sucks, but everyone's an adult here to make a choice. Who is more important to you, your son or your college's classmate, or your son's college classmate turned boyfriend, or your son's college classmate turned boyfriend? You are showing your son who you think is. The situation should never be painted as if there is a choice to be made. You can't have the cake and eat it too. I don't think it's anywhere near that simple or even a directionally accurate statement. Love is not some finite resource wherein showing affection to your boyfriend leaves your child starving and neglected. The son isn't handling this well at all, and while I understand it's not a fun spot for him, it's completely unreasonable to turn things into an ultimatum. I won't accuse you of doing this, but couldn't you apply this exact same reasoning to every relationship where one or both have kids? If you date anyone, they are more important than your children. Come on. No, I disagree. No one is going to be more important than my kids ever. I don't care who you are. I don't care who the person is. They're not going to be more important than my kids. No one is going to be more important than my children. Exactly. If you have children and think a relationship is more important than them, you've got some soul searching to do. Whether it's a normal age gap or one like this, if your partner doesn't make your kids comfortable and you choose them over your own child, you don't deserve to have kids to begin with. You can meet and have connections with so many people in the world, and you choose and stick with the one person who is causing strain on your relationship with your children. It just doesn't make sense unless you don't love your children. If my child is a vegetarian and my diet makes them uncomfortable, am I choosing burgers over my kids? Wait, that doesn't make sense. That's okay. He's just turned complete. This person has just completely turned it over now, and in the same way that the vegan teacher talks about, like, relates animal abuse back to the Holocaust or some shit. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Okay, do I not deserve to have kids? Do I not love them? This is some wild black and white thinking. Your children being important doesn't mean they're little kings and queens ruling your life. The ideal is to make everyone happy, but reality is seldom that simple. Now, why they don't like my partner matters greatly, and I would make every effort to hear them out, validate their points, and take their side if there's any ambiguity, but my life isn't their toy to manhandle however they see fit. Okay, I don't know. I kind of agree with this commenter at this point. Yeah, he is turning it into an ultimatum, which is kind of a sucky move. I don't know. I don't really know where to go on this. I don't know. I'm kind of being pulled in both directions. Like, yeah, this is a she shouldn't be doing this. This is kind of gross and just not a good idea also. But like, and because they said the kid was in university, I thought the kid was like 21 or 22. I'm gonna I'm hang on. I'm gonna keep looking through a profile and see if there's a post with the actual ages so that we can judge this better. Oh my god, how do I okay, yeah. We're gonna go here, going to a profile, and I wanna see okay, blah blah blah. There's like okay, she's just made a few posts all on age gap relationship subs and one on r/relationship advice that says, oh, perfect. Oh, she's losing her son, 24 male. Okay, wait, so the boyfriend is 25. That changes things. I think that's not bad. That's not too bad. Like, I might be alone in this. Again, it's still weird that it's a teacher and student or whatever having a relationship, and it's weird that they're close in age to the son, but like, also at the same time they're 25 and they should be able to make their own decisions, and like their brain is fully developed at this point. I don't think the guy's in the wrong. I think the mom is kind of in the wrong, but also at the same time the son is kind of in the wrong. I don't know. This isn't r/ am I the asshole. I can't really make any. I'm just having complicated emotions right now. Okay, let's do a couple more because I want to keep going. Am I the asshole for calling my daughter unsupportive? Wait, the oh, okay. The title on r/ am I the devil is, am I the asshole for using my kid as a therapist? Oh gosh. Okay, and this was posted in r/ am I the asshole, obviously. Uh, I'm a mom to two kids. Danica, okay, 48 female. I'm a mom to two kids. Danica, 7 female, and Parker, 14 female. Fake names. I think it's important to explain my family dynamics. Husband, 49 male, and I have an okay marriage, but we're at odds somewhat often. He can be a total asshole to me, and sometimes even the kids, but in the end, we still love each other. Parker takes after him a lot, and she's always been a bit of a handful. We also think she might have ADHD. Can't afford to get her diagnosed, though, and has anger issues as well as not knowing when to not engage, mainly with her father, who she just argues with constantly. She refuses therapy, so we kind of just deal with it. Danica, however, has been instrumental. I honestly don't know what we'd do without her. When she was younger, she went through a bit of trouble, but around age 10, she really started to make sure. She's always there to listen when I have a problem, and she does her best to help out where she can. Okay, wait. Hang on. You can afford therapy because you said she refuses therapy. You can afford therapy, but you can't afford to get her diagnosed. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Last night I had a problem with my husband and we were arguing over finances. I recently got a new job and decided to buy myself something small as a treat. He's upset over that because he wants us to save for a trip we're taking later this year. Anyway, this morning I saw Danica was up and went over to her. I started venting about what happened, but felt like she wasn't listening. Finally, she just went, Mom, stop. And I stopped and asked what was wrong. She told me that she didn't want to hear it right now. I told her that I needed her to listen right now. We went back and forth, but eventually she told me that she's sick of being my therapist and that I need to find some outside support. I reminded her that I don't have many friends that I can talk to, and she knows this. I don't really have many friends, and said that's why I needed her support. She just scoffed and said that I could get a therapist. That she just scoffed and said that I could get a therapist then, but she's tired of dealing with my problems. I got upset and told her she was being unsupportive. She just stormed off and refuses to talk now. She's the only one I feel comfortable talking to about these things, since she's his daughter and understands the dynamics better than anyone else could. Now I feel bad and think I could be in the wrong. Am I the asshole? Okay, hang on. I just had to see about a text from my mom because she started texting me stuff. I haven't heard from her in over a day. Okay, you're the asshole. Your children are not your personal therapist. She's 100% right in putting her foot down and setting boundaries for herself. Boundaries in which you need to respect. You're the only one being unsupportive here by not respecting her boundaries. Get a therapist. As someone who's had to deal with similar stuff my entire life, if you don't start respecting her wishes, you're going to end up not having her around at all one day. Yeah. You're the asshole. What the fuck is wrong with you? You don't vent about your husband to your kids. They are not your therapists. You shelter them from bad things. And you can afford therapy, but can't afford to get your daughter evaluated. I'm so glad I'm not the only one hung at this because what? You can afford therapy sessions but not an evaluation? Ignoring that glaring issue and moving on to another, why is OP just being willy nilly and letting her child refuse therapy? If a kid is in therapy in the first place, then there is something obviously affecting them on a day to day basis. You, as a parent, should be responsible and make them go through it. That's like if a 14-year-old didn't want to wear a cast and their mom just shrugged and said, fine. No, you're a parent. You lay down boundaries. At least mine thankfully did. But seeing how OP treats her daughter, I think she's more of a toxic friend than a mom. Can't afford evaluation, but can afford a vacation. This is the epitome of bad parents. Yes, thank you. If you can afford therapy, if you can afford a vacation that you're saving for, you use that money to get your child evaluated for ADHD. Which is more important, going on a vacation or getting your child evaluated for a disorder and getting her treated for said disorder? I mean, OP is a complete asshole and emotionally abusive of her kid here, but depending on where you are, getting evaluated for ADHD can literally cost thousands of dollars. Therapy might also be on a sliding scale or covered by insurance. I think everything should be covered by insurance, and I think that all healthcare should be free like it is in Canada, and that includes mental health care as well. Mental health is just as important as physical health. And I hate that people don't realize that. She's always there to listen when I have a problem, and she does her best to help out where she can. A 17-year-old should not be asked to be her therapist. A, she doesn't have the skills or the life experience, and B, it's not fair to her. You're taking one relationship, mother to child, and trying to sandwich in another duty that isn't part of that relationship. She can't fix your relationship with your husband, only you can do that. In the meantime, venting to her may make you feel better, but it doesn't do anything to help. Oh, here comes OP. I would be there for her if she needed me, so why can't I expect her to be there for me? I don't expect her to solve my problems. I just want someone to listen. And she has 267 downvotes. Well, 268 now because I downvoted her too. She's a child, you are the adult. You're venting about her father. It's extremely inappropriate, full stop. Children are not your emotional support humans. She is your daughter. She shouldn't be hearing about your relationship problems with her father. Get some friends and let your kid be a kid. You're going to drive her away with this enmeshment. To be honest, her friends are also not her therapist. True, but still a better option than her child. That is true. You're the asshole, she is your child, and she should not be expected to listen to you venting. You need to get a therapist or find some friends to hang out with, but stop putting that mental load on your daughter. It's unfair to ask that of her. Prioritize getting your daughter evaluated for ADHD. Because you are her mother, that is why you need to be there for her. And also, you are an adult and she is a kid, so she shouldn't be needed for her to listen to all of your problems. She is not your peer, not your friend, not your therapist. She is your daughter. You're putting too much on her because she's not the problem child. Back off and be a parent. Do you know that what you are doing has a name? It's called emotional or covert incest. It's leaning on a child for the emotional support an adult should be providing. What you are doing to that child is abuse and it absolutely messes kids up. Because you are her mother, not her friend, be an adult. It's not her responsibility to listen to you vent about her dad. Because you are the parent and she is the child. You are supposed to be taking care of your children. That was the deal when you had them. They are not supposed to be taking care of you. You should not put your child in the middle of your marital problems. Your husband is also your child's parent, and you're making her listen to the reasons you're angry at her other parent. Whine to someone your own age. Do you not have a single fucking friend? You chose to have her, she didn't choose you. That's true. That's 100% true. You're the asshole. She is not your friend. She is your daughter. You should not vent to her about her father. It's wildly inappropriate. You should work on finding friends. Your daughter needs a mother, and she is not your therapist. Being there for her is your job as a parent. Your job is also to protect her from the BS between her parents. She's not your friend, and she's not your therapist. Her only job is to be a child. Listening to her problems is the exact opposite of what her job is as a child. You can't and expect her to be there for you every time you want to complain. You're being extremely selfish. It stresses her out and makes her unhappy to listen to you whine. You don't have the guts to stand up to your husband, so you're forcing your wife to provide the support he refuses to give. I hope she moves out and gets far away from you and your asshole husband. She doesn't owe you anything just because you're her egg donor, which I call my dad my sperm donor. If you view being there for your children as some grand gesture, then you shouldn't have had kids. It's really that simple. Because you're her mom and she's a child, what the fuck is this comment, LMAO? Because she isn't not your adult friend. Go make friends, don't burden your children. Even when she grows up, leave her out of your marriage problems. Let's look at it like your workplace. You are her manager. It's inappropriate to vent to another subordinate about another manager. You're damaging the working relationship between your daughter and her father, as well as your own relationships with both by doing this. You have a therapist. Save it for therapy. You're her mother. Being there for her is your job. You signed up for it when you decided to have children. She is not your peer and does not owe you a reciprocal relationship as she is still a child. That's what you do as a parent. Your child is not your parent nor your therapist. Plus, you are bitching to her about her father. Stop that. Because you're the freaking parent and she's the child. You should never put a child in a position where you're leaning on them for support. You're parentifying her. Because she is a child. How long has she had to put up with your venting? And Jeebus, the poor kid, she will be out that door as soon as she can. You're the asshole. You are her mother. She is your child. Period. You brought her into this world. She didn't ask you to. She owes you nothing. You are a bad person and a horrible parent. Holy shit. No wonder your youngest is struggling. With you as the patron saint of emotional immaturity, your kid doesn't stand a chance. This has to be true. You can't honestly be for real. She is your child. You are the mother. OMG. You have a fundamental misunderstanding of what your roles are supposed to be. This is absolutely terrible parenting. Because she is not your friend, she is your child. As the adult, you're supposed to guide her and help her. It is your job to make sure she becomes a functioning adult. Putting your problems on her, specifically your problems with her father, is not helpful to her and is in fact damaging to her development and her own relationship with her father. Read up on emotional incest, that's what's happening here. You're the asshole, you've parentified your daughter. Not only does she manage her younger sister, you now treat her like a peer that you vent marital problems to. She is 17 and deserves to be a teenager planning her future. It's not her problem that you don't have any friends. You definitely need therapy. I believe this scenario is included in the handbook on how to alienate your children. And then the OP comes back saying she doesn't manage her younger sister and she has minus 134 down votes. That's not your oldest job, that you are the parent. I've been reading lots of children on Reddit talking about how their parents always parentified them. You keep it up, lady. Your daughter is going to go no contact with all of you and you'll be back crying about it. That was hard to read. Like, it's a very like all over the place comment with some okay, anyway. Maybe not. Sure seems like she's managing you though. Poor form. But she's managing you, and that's way worse. Shows what you know. Parentification is more than about kids being a secondary parent to younger siblings. It entails children having any sort of responsibilities that are inappropriate for their age, like playing mediator slash therapist for their own parents. Why do you think that's her job? Yikes, you are being too defensive. Please take on the whole response. The dynamic with your daughter is unhealthy. What you are doing is triangulation. You and your husband should be going to couples counseling. At the very least, you need to go by yourself to understand why what you are doing to your daughter may result in her withdrawing when she is older, and you will never understand why. This is serious, lived experience. No, just her mother, apparently. You're the asshole. You should never have started leaning on your kids for mental support. It's not their job. Get a therapist for yourself individually, and you and your husband need marriage counseling ASAP. Bottom line, you are the mom. It's your job to support your kids, not the other way around. We've done marriage counseling before, but husband won't do it again. He also would never get therapy for himself. He just refuses, and it's not worth arguing with him about it. Do you personally get therapy? No, I can't. Why? Husband already hopes at me if I do a simple doctor's visit. He would get angrier if I did therapy since it's costly over time. If you are going to have an excuse for everything someone tells you, stop wasting people's time. Okay, so that's medical neglect of your children, and the pair of you are grossly unfit parents. So you choose not to. Then you're in a financially abusive relationship and need to get out. You're teaching your daughters that this kind of shitty relationship is normal. Yeah, okay. So both the mom and dad are garbage in this case. This is disgusting. He gets mad at you for doing a doctor's appointment, and he would get angry if you did therapy to help you. Therapy has been helping me a lot, and maybe I haven't been going for the last few months because I've been taking a break, which has actually been really nice because I don't have to think or talk about my problems. Maybe I should though. But, I just think like y- you should be able to get therapy if you want it. And yes, if your husband is getting mad at you and you feel like you can't do something that is going to help you in the long run and is going to be important to your health, whether it's physical health or mental health, then yes, that is a financially abusive relationship and you should not be in it. That is fucked. I'm sorry that he yells at you for that, but like, you need to take your kids to the doctor and you need to be able to get therapy for yourself. Just get divorced. Yeah, exactly. Ugh, okay. You're the asshole. I think this is textbook parentification. Like, I believe I literally read something almost exactly the same in a textbook. Your child is not your friend, and as an adult, you should never put your burdens on your child. You say she matured when she was 10. That is because you forced her to. She has lost her youth having to handle your emotional burdens. As someone who was the child in this situation, it's extremely difficult to bear the weight of your parents' problems. OP needs their own therapist and to stop dumping on their children. It has mental impacts way beyond what the child can see or communicate with you. Yeah, because they're a child and they don't really understand everything that's going on inside their child brain. Like, they don't have the words to communicate that about what you're doing and how it's making them feel. They can't always say that stuff. I mean, I'm 30 and I still have trouble communicating that stuff sometimes. All right, let's do one more story. I think Okay, yeah. We're gonna read a few comments from r slash Am I the Devil. Besides the obvious issue with demanding she be a therapist, there's another glaring issue. They can save up for a vacation, yet not get their younger one the medical attention she needs. Yeah, instead of saving for a vacation, which I'm guessing is gonna cost you a few $1,000s because vacations cost a fucking lot. I hope, sorry, that was weird. The camera just had an issue with the camera. But anyway, uh, yeah, and if you're saving up for a vacation, which I'm gonna guess is gonna cost a few $1,000s because vacations are very, very expensive, then, it's instead of that, you should be worrying more about your child's health, maybe getting your younger child evaluated for fucking ADHD, get some medication for her, get her treated, figure out what she needs, get her some help, that kind of thing. And mom isn't just going to the daughter with, I'm tired and I hate my job, I wish I had friends, but she's going to her daughter with marital problems. That's Danica's dad OOP is venting about and bad mouthing. I also suspect OOP goes to Danica about Parker too, and she's Parker's sister. OOP is throwing all her frustration and resentment at Danica's own family onto Danica. That's complete and total shit. It's isolating, it's heavy and lonely, and it's selfishness from OOP. She's 17. She doesn't need to hear how her dad sucks as a husband. Both of my parents did that shit to me, and it was also toxic as well as confusing for child me. My mom constantly complained to me about my father from a very young age, just ranting and venting for hours. I would end up in tears because of how uncomfortable and awful it was, and she wouldn't even notice. How difficult is it to understand that a child's other parent is half of who they are, and that it hurts to hear them being crucified by one parent? Not to mention, it's super confusing. The woman was a psychology major for crying out loud. Not just that, OOP says they can't afford to get the ADHD diagnosis, but they can afford therapy. Does OOP not understand how anything works? The diagnosis is likely covered under insurance, whereas therapy is unlikely to be, unless they go to a psychiatrist, which is one of the doctor types that is often qualified to do those kinds of assessments. Which, yeah, that's how I got my it was either, I always confuse psychiatrist and psychologist, but I got diagnosed by the person who used to handle my medication as autistic. I went to him so I could get diagnosed with depression and, get on meds and get the help I needed. But I also got diagnosed with autism. That was the exact same time I got diagnosed with autism. And I found out about it like a week later when I was in therapy and they did the diagnosis and stuff like that. He was like, because my mom had known since I was a little kid, but my dad, you know how my dad was, so he didn't want to get me diagnosed. All I remember is my dad coming to me when I was like 7 years old and telling me your mom thinks you're retarded, and I didn't even know what that meant, so I just kept playing with my fucking toys or whatever. But fuck. I agree and would have also included that part if the title character limit wasn't 40 characters. Oh, I wasn't hoping on you. OOP is a shitty parent all around. OOP's reasoning is that somehow whenever they get a primary doctor, they move out of state. I don't get this at all. If this is the case, have the primary refer to the local university medical center where there are psychiatrists on staff. Hell, if you need a referral, see if you can do a televisit if see if you can see an NP or PA, but OOP is desperately tap dancing for excuses, so this doesn't surprise me at all. Okay. Actually, that's semi-believable if they're a military family. Military docs finally gave orders for me to get allergy panel. Oops, time to move again, meaning start process all over again, and never did get my allergy panel. It's not that the family moves out of state, but that the doctor does. So OP's doctor leaves, which in majority of cases you are given notice and time to find a new doctor, and OP just refuses to do the work of getting a new doctor and just takes the kids to urgent care when they're sick. It's both a waste of resources for people who actually need urgent care, far more expensive, and the kids don't have any preventative measures or routine check-ins. Yeah. In most countries with a decent school system, evaluations for ADHD are free. This was a troll post. Can confirm all of my learning disability testing was done at my public school. They even did semi-annual evaluations to make sure that the special ed was helping. Diagnosed dyslexic and ADHD. All you have to do is make one phone call to the school with your concerns and they'll set everything up. Well, first off, if Parker goes to public school, they can most likely take care of testing and diagnosing her with ADHD. Second off, mom needs a damn therapist because it's not her children's job to deal with her adult problems. What an exhausting human to be around. Uh, Copied verbatim from OOP's comment. Uh, okay. She's always there to listen when I have a problem, and she does her best to help out where she can. A 17-year-old should not be asked to be your therapist. She doesn't have the life skills or the life experience, and it's not fair to her. You are taking one relationship, mother to child, and trying to sandwich in another duty that isn't part of that relationship. She can't fix your relationship with your husband, only you can do that. In the meantime, venting to you may make you feel better, but it doesn't do anything to help. In fact, it probably does something to hurt your kid. I would be there for her if she needed it, so why can't I expect her to be there for me? I don't expect her to solve my problems, I just want someone to listen. You're the asshole, you have parentified your daughter. Not only does she manage your younger sister, you now treat her like a peer that you vent marital problems to. She is 17 and deserves to be a teenager, planning her future. It's not her problem that you don't have any friends. You definitely need therapy. I believe this scenario is included in the handbook on how to alienate your children. She doesn't manage your younger sister. You're the asshole, and without knowing what you bought, maybe you should be using your new extra money not for treats, but to get your other daughter's issues addressed. Parker refuses, so we can't make her go. You're the asshole. You should never have started leaning on your kids for mental support. That's not their job. Get a therapist for yourself individually, and you and your husband need marriage counseling ASAP. Bottom line, you are the mom. It is your job to support your kids, not the other way around. We've done marriage counseling before, but husband wouldn't do it again. He also would never get therapy for himself. He just refuses, and it's not worth arguing with him about it. You're the asshole. Everything she said was true, but instead of listening to her and understanding her side, you just doubled down and made things worse. Your daughter was clearly upset, but instead of acting like her mother and trying to help her, you got angry because the teenager wasn't helping you instead. Also, you buy yourself rewards for basically nothing. Your husband is mad because you're supposed to be saving for a trip instead, and all of this while you can't even afford to give your other daughter the help she needs. Why does it sound like your teenager is the only person actually acting like an adult in this family? My mother was a lot like you when I was growing up. Now I'm in my 30s and we don't have a relationship at all. Just saying. We have enough money for the trip. He's just always been against me buying myself things. Also, we have terrible insurance and getting her evaluated would cost us thousands since mental health care here is priced out of control. Uh and then there's a and then someone says calf. What? With a link. Oh, hang on. Is an Imgur link. Oh, they just wanted to share a cute calf with us. Oh my god. That's adorable. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Uh, yep, they can save up thousands for a vacation. They don't care about their kids. Jesus fucking Christ, she is equally dumping on her teenage kid and trying to turn her against her dad. The fact that she kept insisting after she was told no, this is why people like OOP don't have friends. Who wants to befriend someone when the relationship is a series of monologues and not a dialogue? I bet she never listens to Danica's problems. She probably doesn't know anything about her friends, who she finds annoying at school, which guys she finds cute, who she is hoping will ask her out, which college she wants to go to, and which classes she likes too. From OOP's comments, I would be there for her if she needed it, so why can't I expect her to be there for me? I don't expect her to solve my problems, I just want someone to listen. She doesn't even see that her own kid can't talk to her about her issues and problems, probably because it would just lead to OOP whining and dumping on her. If this is real, so proud of Danica for seeing the pattern and standing up for herself at such a young age. Jesus fucking Christ, the adults in that family need to be fucking adults. I'm getting serious flashbacks of my own childhood with an ass of a father and a mother who enabled it while also dumping that shit on me when she thought I was mature enough to handle it. Wasn't allowed to express my own emotions except happiness and contentment because they couldn't handle it. Even the siblings' reaction is like what my sister and I did. She acted out and I was the quiet, mature one, and both of us have spent our adulthoods recovering from this kind of shit. Yet she's going to be shocked when her daughter doesn't speak to her in a few years. I've been in Danica's shoes, forced to be my mother's confidant when things were rough with my father. OOP deserves to step on Lego forever. Genuine question, how expensive is it to get testing for ADHD in the States? Okay. Hmm. Hold on a sec. Sorry, I want to go back to something. Alright. Her daughter isn't her emotional support animal. Danica's last at least 7 years have been playing mom's therapist. This is so unhealthy. Danica is gonna cut her off either for a while or permanently. Her mental health is probably bad. Also, how in the last 8 to 10 years have Opie and her husband been unable to afford to get their other daughter diagnosed? Hang on. I want to look up quickly how to get diagnosed for ADHD in the US. How to get ADHD testing United States. If you are concerned about whether someone might have ADHD, the first step is to talk with a healthcare provider to find out if the symptoms even fit an ADHD diagnosis. The diagnosis can be made by a mental health professional like a psychologist or psychiatrist, or by a primary care provider like a pediatrician. Hmm. Okay, let's try something else. Cost of ADHD testing United States. It can range from a few hundred to several $1,000s. Oof. Yeah, but I'm guessing that their vacation is again also going to be pretty expensive. Like, I don't know, $3 or $4,000. How much are they planning to spend on their vacation anyway? They're saving for a trip and they should be saving for getting their kid tested for ADHD and getting them diagnosed and, getting whatever treatment they need, but it doesn't matter. Okay. They don't even have a family doctor, some excuse about them always end up moving, then you get a new one then. Ah, well, you know what? That's frustrating. All right. Ugh. Yeah, gross. All right. Hmm. Oof. Oh, there's another comment over on the r/am I the asshole post. You're the asshole, and without knowing what you bought, maybe you should be using your new extra money not for treats, but to get your other daughter's issues addressed. Parker refuses, so we can't make her go. Wait, the first time it was about money, now it's because she refuses to go. Excuse me, are you her parent or not? That is your job as a parent. I am astounded that you think you are right in all this. This is ridiculous. She is a kid. Be an adult for once and force her to get help. And for crying out loud, get her tested for ADHD as soon as possible. The longer it is not addressed, the more problems you all will get. Seriously, without early help, ADHD people will have problems in school and later in life with work. Could have other effects too, so get the test ASAP. I have a relative who had undiagnosed ADHD for years and struggled in school and work because of that. That person still has a problem even after being diagnosed in adulthood because it is so much harder to get life together and structure in one life instead when one is a kid. Okay, I think we're gonna do one more story and then we're gonna be done here. But just give me a second because I'm gonna wipe my nose first. And I'm extra sniffly today. I think I might be allergic to my hamster. I was allergic I was allergic to my rats before, so it makes sense that I would be allergic to other small rodent pets. And I only found out after I had had my rats for a few weeks because I only get that way when I'm around them for like a long period of time. Like I'm not allergic to it might be something about them specifically, like not even just their fur, because whenever I used to hold rats at the pet store, it wasn't whenever I used to hold rats at the pet store, I never got allergic, but then when I got pet rats, I was allergic. You're the asshole for not being able to afford therapy or a diagnosis for your younger daughter, but being able to save up for a trip. And also for expecting your 17-year-old to listen to grown ass marital complaints that are also about her own dad. Grow up. A trip only cost a couple hundred. Evaluations could cost thousands, and most of which we'd be forced to pay out of pocket. Edit to add, also the trip is for Danica because she asked for it. She planned it all herself, and that's why we're doing it. Husband doesn't like going on trips anymore, but he was happy to do this for her since she's turning 18. Are you sure? Have you talked to her pediatrician? Because my daughter's pediatrician handled it herself, and testing was basically just talking about her behaviors and emotions and then seeing if the ADHD meds worked. Won't make a difference if it's another problem causing these behaviors, but it makes a huge difference if ADHD is the culprit. Obviously, not all places are the same or have access to the same medical care, but I wonder if you've even looked into it at all or had a simple conversation with her doctor. Parker doesn't have a pediatrician. You are failing your children. Where does she go when she gets sick? Urgent care, but we don't have our own specific doctor that we can see for everything because they always end up leaving. What the fuck? That is so much more expensive than seeing a pediatrician. If you saw a pediatrician, your kids could get regular preventative care appointments for free. Yeah, because they always end up leaving. What the fuck does that mean? And her vaccinations? As I said in another comment, what you're telling us is that a vacation is more important than your daughter's health problems. You're reinforcing that over and over again. You are a bad mother. Yeah, exactly. Does she have a doctor at all? Can she be tested through the school? I feel like this is the real story here. Why are you on Reddit worrying that your daughter is tired of being your bestie? Instead of worrying about your other daughter's lack of medical care, her school should be calling CPS. True story. They probably have. Useless parent. Yeah, I'm not sure that CPS would do anything. It takes a lot for CPS to actually fucking do something. Uh, I'm just lucky that CPS actually fucking did something. All right, one more story and then we're done. I just want to keep reading this comments, man, because this is insane. This is insane, man. Right. I'm looking for. I'm trying to find something good. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. Oh God, no. Okay. Am I the asshole for telling the truth about how the bride looks? Oh boy. Oof. Okay. Well. Yeesh. Okay, I, female 24, dabble in photography quite often. As for a career, I design clothing and model it to save costs. So when my brother Jake, male 21, asked me to photograph his wedding, I of course agreed. My brother's wife Chelsea, 22, is a very kind woman. However, her stylistic choices can sometimes be a bit wild. I do not judge at all because I know innovation is part of self-expression. Chelsea showed me her wedding makeup, and she had these vibrant green contacts on. They looked extremely reptilian due to it not matching her undertone. When she showed me the picture, I told her she looked lovely, but that the contacts weren't the best. She seemed a bit offended and told me she just wanted to look exotic like you. I offered to find her some more natural contacts, but she wouldn't relent. On her wedding day, as I took pictures, the contacts looked even worse, like a neon green light up sign. When Jake was free for a moment, I showed him a few pictures. He called Chelsea over, and she seemed to be happy with the pictures, while Jake seemed a bit iffy. Chelsea asked what she thought, and I told her she looked stunning, but I then asked if she'd like me to edit the contrast a bit in the pictures. She then got extremely defensive and accused me of calling her ugly on her own wedding day. Of course, that was not my intention, but I left early to prevent a scene. Edits to answer some questions. The bride was not being racist with the exotic comment, English is her second language. I just look unconventional. 2. I left the wedding at 1 a.m. instead of 3. They had lots of pictures taken by me. 3. I asked her about the edits of the wedding itself as she wanted them posted ASAP on my account and hers. I didn't want her to receive rude comments from my relatives or my followers or anything like that, but I also didn't want her to be edited without consent. Finally, here is what the contacts looked like. Okay. I mean, they look fine, and who cares? It's what she wanted. She thinks she looks good. Why would you say that to her? A gentle you were the asshole. You showed her the photos and she liked how she looked. That's what matters in this moment. As you've said, this is her form of self-expression. You'd have been better off sticking to your I do not judge at all claim. You approached this as a family member and not as a wedding photographer. Can't fault you for that, so a gentle you're the asshole because you are her new sister-in-law. Your honesty was well intended, but your timing was poor. A wedding photographer would have taken the photos and not questioned the bride's style choices. That would have been the professional approach in this scenario. Afterwards, once you sent the photos over, the bride could let you know if she had concerns. If she didn't, as a photographer, you keep your mouth shut. Side note, as someone who does photography as a side hustle, I highly recommend not being the main photographer for relatives' weddings. Learn this early on. They hire a professional, they have more fun, and whatever photos you take are bonus pictures that they are ever so grateful to receive. Alright. I agree with this stance, and I think a lot of people here are failing to see past the fact that the bride's contact choice was obviously a mistake. This was all about timing, and the right time to bring this up was not on their wedding day. I used to work weddings and knew a lot of photographers. This is something they would have brought up gently later on while editing the photos. It's not necessarily a mistake. If she wanted bright neon eyes, then she wanted bright neon eyes. They were only a mistake if they weren't what she was going for. Plus, with everything digital, she can always get the shots retouched anytime, or when she changes her mind, if or when she changes her mind. Totally agree, digital editing gives too much flexibility. She can always tweak the photos later if needed. Unfortunately, most photographers won't give raw files even for a fee. Yeah, but you don't need the raws just to lower the saturation of someone's eyes. It's a small fix. This makes me think the post is fake because why would an actual photographer ask about editing while still at the wedding? She admits that she is not a professional photographer. Yeah. Chelsea asked what I thought. Meh, well, she should have dropped it after the first time. I hate when people ask for my opinion but don't actually want it and then proceed to get upset. Don't ask questions you don't want answers to. Thank you, how simple is that? Copied verbatim from OOP's comment, and that was the first comment that we just read, so I'm not gonna bother reading it all again. Blah blah blah. If she didn't, as a photographer, keep your mouth shut. Side note, blah 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 blah. Hey, you were totally right. I probably should have phrased it different. I should have added this into my original post, but the reason I asked immediately is because it was a small wedding. They wanted to post pictures that night itself, and she wanted me to post it as well, due to my follower count. They were hoping to get featured in a magazine of some sort as they had a gorgeous wedding. My relatives are very harsh and I didn't want her to get hurt further, but I also didn't want to edit it without her consent. A discussion about OOP's level of professionalism. Her conduct comment reminds me we also need more info. When did she leave the event? Did she leave when they still needed photos taken? Which could still be a gentle you're the asshole because this sounds like it was a gift, but she may have left them in a lurch on their wedding day. By leaving early, I meant at 1 a.m. instead of 3. By then, everyone was just dancing and pretty drunk, and I already had over 1K photos. Info, what the fuck did she mean exotic like you? To be honest, English is her second language. She didn't mean it in a weird way to be sure. For sure. She said that probably due to my features being somewhat uncommon, not trying to sound like some stuck up brat hyping myself up. I just have a different eye color and face shape that tends to stand out a bit. Info, what the fuck did she mean saying she wanted to look exotic like you? Maybe it's a cultural thing, but I cannot think of a situation where that statement doesn't come across as racist. No, she is not racist in any way. Regarding a deleted comment, are you posting from two different accounts? Hi, sorry, I share a computer with my younger sister, and I accidentally used her account. I didn't want her personal one to be tied into this. Gentle, you're the asshole. Also, this isn't a real job. Dabble in photography quite often. As for a career, I design clothing and model it to save costs. I own a fashion brand and constantly have orders. I do not see why it is not a real job. Saying you dabble means to be involved casually or as a secondary interest, so it's your own poor word choice for why you are saying these comments. You are basically saying you don't consider yourself a professional. You should probably rephrase it in your original post if it's a role in your primary career. I dabble in photography. Fashion is my main career, as I stated in the posts. And then the same person who posted the picture of the calf, posted a picture of this kitten. Um, oh, it's not even, it's a video of a cat like jumping around at the mirror. It's so cute. Oh my god, that's adorable. Sorry, I just love cats and I love a lot of I don't think I'm gonna be able to attach this stuff to the end of the video though, sorry. Goodness, that's too cute for words. This is stupid to post here. I hate people like this. If I ask for opinion, yeah, this is stupid to post here. They're definitely not the devil in this situation. I'm not even sure that they're the asshole. I hate people like this. If I ask for opinions, I genuinely want opinions. People who flip out like this ruin it for the rest of us. If you don't want to know, why ask? OP did nothing wrong. Don't know why this is here. The bride does not seem mature enough to get married. She shouldn't have asked if she couldn't take even a mild, polite, constructive criticism without a meltdown. I don't see OOP as a devil here. Exactly. OOP may be unprofessional, but is hardly the devil. This doesn't belong here. I read this one earlier and was really surprised to see it here, to be honest. From looking at their history, OP seems to take a scattershot approach to cross posting here. Okay, interesting. Am I supposed to find the contact's OOP link to be jarring in some way? They look fine to me. They look creepy as fuck to me, to be honest. I wonder how they looked on the bride. Could be they stood out really starkly in contrast to the model. Alright, I'm wrapping this up because I gotta go and use the bathroom and do a bunch of other stuff. My mom's gonna be home in a couple hours and I have to go deal with some stuff and well, not like clean up, but I mean, I can't. Okay, I have to go. Anyway, I love each and every one of you guys. Please don't forget to always be yourself. Um, you are valid. Don't forget to be good to yourself and to others. And I will see each and every one of you guys in the next video, which will probably be, I don't know, Friday or Saturday maybe. And it's going to be a few chapters of A Guardian Angel, just like you guys wanted. So, alright, bye.